maybe she's gonna be a good guy by the end of the season.
Yeah.
I mean,
Doesn't that sound like the kind of shit Disney Star Wars do? Where they're just like,
Yep.
she's
100%.
misunderstood, or she's trying to kill the Jedi because they know they can't. I was about to throw in like they can't know a secret, and then I was just like, fucking whatever. It doesn't need a reason. It would just be like, oh, I misunderstood. I thought you guys were the bad guy. It's just like, yeah, whatever, fine.
My first take when I saw them fighting is that like they're both gonna be redeemed at the end or anything. Like they can't be made. They're not gonna make a bad female character. It's just Disney. They just can't.
Yeah,
Which
she's
just
gonna
feels
turn out
like,
to be good, and yeah.
Like Reva.
When designing stories,
Not gonna make a bad female character. Yeah, you know, they aren't doing woke arguments at all, guys. Don't worry. Okay, so, you know, this is kind of sticking with me, because they're to bring up how they'll never make a woman the bad guy, so real quick, last Star Wars series, Morgan Elsbeth, one of the main villains of Ahsoka. You know, she never gets redeemed. She's just a fucking villain throughout the whole fucking thing. Just gonna point that out. Yeah. She is questionable at best in Ahsoka. Questionable at best. This is one of the main villains in Andor. A woman. Not redeemed. So yeah, just saying that women aren't bad guys in Star Wars, pretty weak. Hey guys, I need you to do me a favor. Help me fight the algorithm. Go ahead and hit like, hit that subscribe button, and hit that bell icon for new notifications. Thank you. See Movie Studios, where's the Efap hate? You know, you guys act like that's all I do every day, and I don't. I don't. And it's not that they don't deserve it, because Efap's awful, but, like, I have other things to do with my life. I have a podcast. I have a podcast where I'll be where I talk about media, and I'll soon be talking about talking to indie filmmakers who have made some fantastic fucking movies that I recommend checking out. Some really cool stuff. I cover comic books because comic books are awesome. So I cover comic books. I cover movies. I cover TV shows, and yes, I do cover chuds. First off, before we dive into the Efap stuff, because I think it's definitely worth diving into, I want to get some context to see exactly what they were covering. So let me dig this stuff up real fast. Alright, so first we're going to look at this channel. Ooh, he's jumped up in subs, so I mean, good for him. We got Lightspeed, talking about a galaxy far, far away. He's got his pronouns in, so cool. Welcome to Lightspeed, a channel about a galaxy far, far away. As a lifelong fan of Star Wars and someone who loves almost everything within the saga, I wanted to create a place where we could talk about Star Wars in a positive light. Even if we didn't love something within the galaxy, we appreciate it as a whole. May the Force be with you only. So, like, he just wants to talk about his fandom of Star Wars. So that sounds reasonable to me, especially, like, let's face it, like, when we're dealing with toxic fandom, Star Wars has got to have it the worst. And a lot of it began, well, I guess it kind of began with the prequels, but then, like, that was, like, the roots. And there are genuine critiques you can throw at the prequels. But then Star Wars hate kind of grew with the sequels significantly, and it took on a very, very different form then, because a lot of the critiques of the prequels are like, are like at least like technical thought out critiques, and the sequels aren't great. I mean, a lot of the critiques of the sequels are pretty fucking bad, I'll be blunt. But, you know, we're going to check out one of his videos. He did an Acolyte first trailer thoughts. So let's see what he has to say. Oh, and I'm going to need to turn this on.
You might want to buckle up, baby.
Punch it, I'm Jacob and welcome to Lightspeed. And to say that the trailer for the Acolyte was anticipated is honestly kind of an understatement. Aside from a trailer shown at Celebration, things were kept pretty secret from pretty much everybody involved with this series, with the very few details that we were told being extremely vague, which is really funny considering like all of the leaks with all of these other recent Star Wars projects. That being said, after dropping one of the hardest teaser posters I think I've ever seen in my entire life, the trailer for the Acolyte is finally here.
I'll just say, I think he is right. That is a pretty wild poster. So like a Jedi lightsaber hilt with just some blood. That is pretty fucking hardcore. That's pretty awesome. Now I've seen, because I saw the Drickle Drinker one, I've seen the parodies of this, which are just cringe as fuck.
My entire life, the trailer for the Acolyte is finally here. Somehow, I'm even more hyped than before. And right off the bat, the vibes that the trailer gives, it absolutely just reeks from the influence of both the High Republic and the prequel trilogy itself. In all the best possible ways, if you're asking me.
Yeah, see, he definitely liked the trailer more than he is, but I will take his positivity on the trailer because the judge shitting on it was just, it's way too intense. It's like, guys, it was a fine trailer. It was fine. It didn't blow my mind, but it was fine. You know, it's got me interested for sure, and I definitely want to see this time period, which we've never seen in live action before. But, you know, and I'm interested to see the series. And, you know, it's cool. Yeah, and it's cool, like, someone is actually excited to see it, and we will see what the response to this is. But, yeah.
Like, from the opening alone, it looks like something that you would just see released around the time of the prequel trilogy. Which makes sense considering that it aligns perfectly with the synopsis that they dropped for the series yesterday as well. Saying, and I quote, "Taking place 100 years before the Phantom Menace, the Acolyte follows an investigation into a shocking crime spree, pitting a respected Jedi Master against a dangerous warrior from his past." So it looks like we're gonna have like a murder mystery or detective story set within the Star Wars universe, which again feels very prequel considering that it was in Attack of the Clones. It's very influenced by the prequels, as you can tell, and if there's one thing that I love about the High Republic era that it's also influenced by, is that the Jedi are essentially Texas Rangers, kind of like traveling around the galaxy and enforcing the law whenever they can. So having a show that takes that concept and brings it to life, it really piques my interest a lot. And I just have to say that one shot at the end of the trailer where like all of the Jedi just like whip out and ignite their lightsabers, absolute peak. Like, we are so bad. But enough about the Jedi. Let's switch over and talk about the dark side and the Sith, considering that their presence is just kind of looming over this entire teaser. It's very rare that things as simple as lightsabers tend to pique my interest. However, that one shot of the red lightsaber igniting and being thrown at the end of this trailer really piques my interest a lot, actually. Mainly because, like, you know, the Sith are not really around, or at least the Jedi are led.
Me too, Dum Dumber. I'm ready for Darth Jar Jar. It will happen.
To believe. If you're asking me, I feel like this show has the potential to fill in some gaps of the prequels and explore the Sith unlike ever before. Maybe even giving us our first live action look at Darth Plagueis. I don't know. I'm just kind of spitballing here. This is nothing more than...
I don't know. I guess it could be Darth Plagueis. That's an interesting idea. That is very spitballing, but okay. That could be cool.
Speculation. However, considering that everything has really been kept under wraps about this show until now, I feel like they're hiding something big. However, I guess we'll find out when the series starts streaming on Disney Plus this June. You can rest assured I've already planned to cover every single episode on this channel. Until then, we can't really do anything else other than speculate, so I'm very excited for the show. I love the vibe of the trailer. I think it's going to be great. And beyond that, I'm going to take this time to recommend Light of the Jedi by Charles Soule. If you've never read that, it's a great introduction to the High Republic era of Star Wars. Absolutely phenomenal book. Cannot recommend it enough. And I think it would be perfect to kind of lead you into the Acolyte. Again,
damn, he's read his Star Wars lore as well. I haven't even read that many of the books, and it's been years since I've read any of them. So he knows his stuff. Okay.
I thought this trailer was great. It gave me kind of everything that I expected, and even a little bit more, but it still kind of keeps a lot of stuff up to interpretation. So for that alone, A+, I can't wait to see where they go. Again, somehow even more hyped than before. Like, I didn't think that was possible, but here we are. But what did you think of the trailer? Let me know down in the comments below. And as always, please like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell to stay notified, and until the next video, may the Force be with you.
Okay. I mean, I'm not as excited for it as he is. Obviously didn't think the trailer was as good as he did. But like I said, I thought the trailer was cool. It did pique my interest. And he's excited for it. So that sounds cool. Like, it's nice to have people excited for it. Thank God. God, it seems like he's getting at least some good positive comments on this. That's good. Stop with the screen wipes, Jesus. Okay, I'm kind of looking at this, seeing because you can kind of look at the comments here and be like, okay, what's Efap gonna say? Because yes, Efap did cover this, and we'll be looking at that. So, Efap Highlights is actually an edited compilation of Efap, and they cut down their coverage of Lightspeed's video to an hour. We'll see what this says, but yeah, let's see how it goes.
Here we go. So he's going to tell us what's to be excited about with the Acolyte, because he's one of the people who's so, in favor of it compared to us. So it'll be interesting to check out.
I could tell by his tweets, yeah.
Wow, that's Lightspeed.
baby.
Punch it! I'm Jacob, and welcome to Lightspeed.
Oh fuck!
He's already pointing.
The pointer! The pointer!
He's got the Last Jedi poster right there, as prominent as pot. He's got a fucking Funko Pop of that goober. What's her name?
Dizzy.
So I've actually saw this guy's tweets where he ranked his Star Wars movies and he put Last Jedi as number 1. It's not my number 1, but pretty awesome that he puts it as high. Because it is a very good movie in my opinion, and I'm not saying everybody has to like The Last Jedi, but please don't come at The Last Jedi with Rey is a Mary Sue or there's so many bad critiques of that movie. It drives me nuts. But if they actually have a critique, go at it. But and then like these guys are just insulting him, which is classy.
He's dual wielding.
He's got Funko Pop for Rose Tico. He did that on purpose.
Yeah.
Who would buy a Funko Pop of Rose Tico?
Look at his face.
Is that
Someone who likes the character of Rose Tico.
Chris Gore? Like, who's the one on the left?
Look, I don't want to do the thing, but I'm gonna this face with how he looks, the Rose Tico Funko Pop, the last.
I don't know if I've done. I did my ranking. I have a video for it, but spoiler: Last Jedi I put at the number 3 spot behind Empire and A New Hope.
Jedi poster.
Finish it.
It's a vibe. It's a vibe.
Yeah, he's doing the vibe that I like Star Wars, and yeah.
I thought you would say he's well groomed, Rags. Look at him. He's not
He
like
is well. He's. I mean, there's all the side stuff on the sides on the face, but maybe that's just a preference thing. He's got interesting eyebrows.
Beard.
He's got.
I was about to say he's got those Kirby K-pop.
Are they just going to critique like? No, I can't resist it because they love to critique like just the physical look. Like rather than actually listen to anything they say, they love to just like critique physical look. So let me go ahead and bring back a staple. So everybody's favorite popcorn bucket is still here. We got Black Widow with some glare on her for sure, and then we got Taskmaster, a character that I have many complaints about, but apparently it doesn't matter because I got a $5 popcorn bucket. So this is going to stay right here. Trigger the chuds as they watch. It'll be fun. The Dune one isn't... That Dune one's insane. That like, all those, like, tendrils, like... Oh my god.
I'm gonna lose my virginity to the Dune popcorn bucket.
They're very expressive.
Yes. There's no,
Which, to be honest with you, is perfect because there's not much emotion in the Acolyte trailer, but he can bring it.
And to say that the trailer for
Pointed
the
out, if
Acolyte
you
was
will.
anticipated is honestly kind of an understatement. Aside from a trailer shown at
Was
Celebration...
anybody anticipating it much
Calm
at all?
down.
Editing. Anticipated was an understatement. I mean, like we knew it was coming for years.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, his point is we haven't gotten a trailer for it. Yes, we known it's been coming.
Yeah, but
it didn't shock us. We
did
knew
you
it was
expect
coming.
the red lightsaber though?
Oh no, that was
It's multiple.
That
actually.
shocked me. That
Luke, you should look at most, or not most, but a lot of the comments Efap fans leave me. They love the popcorn bucket. It's their favorite. No, lots of people get triggered by that popcorn bucket because Rags made such a big deal out of it, and it's like, okay, fine. There it is.
That's when I press the like button and subscribe to Disney Plus. Because that red lightsaber, oof.
Yeah.
Serious question. What do you think's the worst name? The Acolyte that just like is like nothing, or the Rise of Skywalker that sounds like shit?
The Acolyte is like nothing. Well, I mean, I assume there's going to be context for that. The Acolyte, nothing.
But at least references like, you know, the Skywalker.
I think the Acolyte's a better title than the Rise of Skywalker.
I think I prefer the Acolyte.
Yeah,
I prefer the Acolyte.
Though
I would go with the neutrality of it.
The Acolyte would be weird in the format of like the Skywalker Saga film titles.
So this brutal takedown of him has been nothing but criticizing his room and his excitement and his eyebrows, strangely enough, and his facial grooming, and lots of just yakking from them.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, The Rise of Skywalker as a TV show name would be pretty weird. Again, you know what I mean? Like, there's contexts that work better for both, but I think I would go with Acolyte, yeah.
Things were kept pretty secret from pretty much everybody involved with this series, with the very few details that we were told being...
What are these, like, what are these edits with all the swiping in?
Well, and also the
hand,
right,
blaster noise.
He's doing all these...
It is it's the style he did. He's just doing a high energy video. It actually requires a lot of work to do a high energy video like this. I don't, like, even when I was doing, like, I'm trying to bring back doing a bit more editing into my videos, which you've probably noticed. That being said, even the high energy stuff like this, it's a lot of, like, tinkering, getting pop effects. There's a lot of, like, the amount of editing he put into this 4-minute video is actually quite a bit.
These motions with his hands, but then all the images go on top of the hands, like...
It's in
because he's just speaking with passion, and he's using his hands to help emphasize it. What his hands are actually doing is not important. That's it. What the hell?
He's just
so many
expressive.
distractions.
He just loves to gesticulate.
He's
so
very
many distractions,
possibly an Italian.
He's high energy, he needs to express like crazy, and he's gonna do it by gum.
vague, which is really funny considering like all of the leaks with all of these other recent Star Wars projects.
What a really good, that is a really good, that's the high quality, high quality images you found of these big movies.
If we're gonna do this,
Rags, like, your editing is like you being like a still frame of a dog, acting like you're a dog watching a video with a little still frame that isn't even animated. That's the extent of your editing for the most part. I don't think you're really in a great place to criticize someone else's editing.
let's put the effort in.
He's
I don't want to
saying
rag
these
out
are
the guy.
They're the leaked
Right.
images, right? Yeah.
Came out ahead of time, so that's why they look bad.
Oh, that's true.
Oh, okay.
Ah, fair
That
enough.
makes sense.
Fair. Totally.
We
fair.
retract our insults.
We were.
The collage.
Yeah.
I was
Strange.
I was distracted by his main channel, Jacob Suggs, is lowercase, but he uppercases on and the, so it was distracting me.
Oh yeah, that's not correct. That's not.
Wow, just love to just nuance troll, just all the minor quibbles they can throw at him.
Correct.
And that's the thing, these Efap fans will go to somebody else's channel and just post comments about all this minor shit that they quibble about, that they discuss. It's kind of weird how the Efap fans just take what they say and run with it.
I like
Both up.
the
fucked up.
the future
Maybe.
Suggs coming in on the past Suggs here. It's a huge blurry mess, but it's like it's so urgent what future Suggs has to say that past Suggs is out at this point as our presenter. Just create
The
this
Acolyte's
artistic
proper
image.
title, though, so the capitalized T on THE might be appropriate because the title of the show is the Acolyte.
Yes, you're right.
for thee is
that's
yes.
okay.
Yeah, for
but
thee
not-
is
not
good here.
on.
But the on,
You're
yeah,
right,
the on
yeah.
that's incorrect.
That being said,
it's
after
the-
dropping one of the hardest teaser posters I think I've ever
Hardest.
Oh come on.
That's why everyone loves it.
There's another word that's been ruined, and fire and all that stuff. Just say it for everything.
Edgar's hard has been.
I think that poster is pretty badass, and I think the parodies of it are pretty fucking sexist and gross, honestly. In case you guys missed it, when the Critical Drinker covered it, we saw some of the parodies, and it's essentially replacing a lightsaber hilt with a tampon, and that's the grand humor. Ha 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 ha. And it's like, yeah, this is implying, like, there's gonna be Jedis, and it's gonna be, like, dark and bloody. That sounds cool, but, like, yeah.
Ruined.
Yeah.
In your entire life, this is one of the hardest teaser posters in your entire life?
It's pretty hard for a Star Wars poster, for sure.
I don't believe you.
To be fair, his life is only like 20 years, so
it could be 20.
You guys are children too. What the fuck? Like, if you guys think the most important thing you can do is just sit here and just bully somebody for liking something, yeah, you're children too.
Me too. You never know what would have happened.
Acolyte is
even
finally
then,
here.
no.
Somehow, I'm even more hyped than before.
Because of all the lightsabers.
He shows lightsabers.
Oh no, another future sug's coming out in the past.
Right off the bat, the vibes that the trailer gives.
the vibes, and it just shows him sitting there, bored.
I like how we went full circle to the little alien guy. I like that.
Yeah.
I can't believe the arc he's had. He's
The Asian guy's like, the alien's about to fall asleep.
Yeah.
That one alien just hoping no one notices he can't close his eyes. Like,
I don't even know what they're critiquing at this point. It's like we just paused the video and we're just yakking about an alien in the background.
How come we're the only two aliens in here and both of our eyes are pure black with no line for expression?
You ask them a question, they're just like,
even though we're joking about this, even though we're joking around about this, it still highlights the potential of how much you can get just by having alien characters. Like, this discussion just from their features. Just aliens being in the room in this stupid scene is getting more than, like, you know, whatever characterization we're going to get out of this show. I just wish they would commit.
Is it a coincidence that they both have Funko Pop eyes?
I didn't even think about that. Ugh.
Dang it.
I only thought about it because of the.
That's another thing I hate about the Funko Pops, the dead ass eyes.
Yeah, they look like shit.
Okay, so we got some interesting critiques of Funko Pops. Well, Hedgehog Nerd, did you see Critical Drinker's coverage of this? That was pretty much Critical Drinker's big complaint about the Acolyte trailer is that there's no white men in it. The horror.
From the influence of both the High Republic and the prequel trilogy itself, in all the best possible ways, if you're asking me. Like,
what was that?
Disappointing.
The way this is edited is fucking nuts.
What is the zoomer editing?
Switching back and forth his angles. Like, he'll be
he'll actively interrupt himself to just say the end of the sentences. Like, hang on right there, buddy. I gotta finish this myself.
People can't keep attention for more than 16 nanoseconds. I have to have some sound effect or some sort of a video slide, or I have to turn my body, or I have to wave my hands. I have to throw cocaine at the screen.
I think he's evolved. Like, the pointing wasn't enough. It's just not enough. People were like, the pointing's cool, man, but I need more. I need some slides.
There's a difference between like pacing and like just distractions, because this to me just screams like insecurity. Either for himself, he's not
insecurity. Like, you guys feeling the need to shit on somebody who's excited for the trailer screams insecurity more than anything he's doing. He's just doing a high energy edit. You know what screams insecurity? Critiquing other people's appearance while hiding behind cartoon avatars. That screams insecurity.
Confident that he can entertain his audience, or he's not like confident that he has an audience with a proper attention span. You know,
just wait.
This isn't what you should be doing.
If he's figured out how to get algorithmically successful tweets, maybe he'll do it with videos someday.
No, my God.
Gotta point the fingers in the right direction.
Of both the High Republic and the prequel trilogy itself, in all the best possible ways.
Yeah, like, what was that?
Like, from the opening alone, it looks like something
that's happening.
Stop.
I can't. I'm having a hard time just following the sentence.
You know what? It's edited like a short, like a YouTube short.
No, you wouldn't want to put that many edits in a short, actually, because it's a short. You literally only have, like, 59 seconds to get your point across. You can't edit that. You can't edit that much, and you definitely don't want to add sound effect to your edit if you're going to do it in a short. I guess you guys haven't made shorts. Of course, the fact that you guys regularly make, like, 5-hour videos kind of should tell me that.
I'm getting.
It is actually hyper distracting to pay attention to what he's saying because it's just like.
And then in the.
Well, I mean, if you actually tried to pay attention, like I did just now when I watched the video, it would be pretty fucking easy. But yeah, when you're stopping every 5 seconds and nitpicking everything you see on screen, it can get distracting. That's the thing. That's the problem with a big problem with something like Efap. Like that's their big thing. They'll just sit down and critique every single moment. And that's not how something like this or a movie is meant to be critiqued. Yeah, I could take apart a fight scene quite easily if I take it apart frame by frame and show you all the clear issues with the fight scene. But the point is, does the overall thing get the point across? Which is something they're not going to be able to do by pausing it every 3 seconds and critiquing everything they see on frame.
Back, you have a Cantina music that's like remixed to be this lo-fi.
Last Jedi is awesome, Glippy. Just saying.
Jazzy thing.
Right at the beginning, they were Rags was saying he didn't like how he shaved. They pointed out his eyebrows for some reason. They don't like his when he started out and he had the essentially the finger guns. That's all types of stuff. I'm pretty sure you were here, Luke.
It's all
distractions. There's no purpose. Yeah.
From the opening alone.
Well, I mean, maybe actually watch it and listen to what he's saying, because like I said, I just watched it and I was able to follow him just fine.
Looks like something that you would just see released around the time of the prequel trilogy.
It looks like something you'd see released around the time of the prequel trilogy. Okay.
And what way do you mean? Explain
yourself.
It takes place around the time of the prequel trilogy in Coruscant. Is that why?
I'm like stunned. So he was talking, then he puts a visual on screen, and then we have like for 2 seconds the frame of I guess the end of that sentence with the new frame coming in. Mm-hmm. What is that?
They covered him years ago, and So what, does he have a different channel? Because this channel has like 800 subs and like 12 videos. So what other channel was he on?
He's already outdated. New subs. Let's go.
Which makes sense considering that it aligns perfectly with the synopsis that they dropped for the series.
Do we get a flash frame there?
As well.
It makes sense that the trailer aligns with the synopsis.
Dude, there's something hilarious about the fact that
over him. My brain is fried.
Well, I mean, that's kind of all you can really do. We don't have much information on it. We have the synopsis and we have the trailer, and kind of he's just saying, hey, it looks about right. Which, yeah, I would give him that. It does.
It makes sense that it evokes the prequels, considering it's set 100 years before the prequels. It's just like, that's kind of funny.
Snuggle a puppy metal, it helps.
This guy
It's weird that this is credited as the Acolyte synopsis Lucasfilm. That's not something a human does.
That's very weird.
An investigation.
An investigation into a shocking crime spree pits a respected Jedi Master against a dangerous warrior from his past. Okay? What?
Into a shocking crime spree pits a respected Jedi Master against a dangerous warrior from his past.
Oh my goodness! I can't wait to see what happens. I hope I hope they all die. I don't know.
A lot of people have been highlighting that if it's a Sith, it'll fuck up the line from the prequels about how the Sith haven't been spotted for like 1,000 years.
They don't give a shit.
I was see. That's kind of my opinion.
Oh, that's it. You could write that away fairly easily. Just say, I mean, maybe something happens and it's not revealed. Also, the Jedi in the prequel were kind of up their own asses quite a bit, so it'd be easy to say that like maybe they're just shit that they weren't talking about. That doesn't seem like a hard write out at all. Okay, but that's not that big a deal, honestly. I'm more concerned with them just shitting on this guy for being positive than,
that you could sprinkle on your dilithium crystal. Ooh.
Follows an investigation into a shocking crime spree, pitting a respected Jedi Master against a dangerous warrior from his past. So it looks like we're gonna have like a murder mystery or detective story set within the Star Wars universe, which again feels very
maybe.
cool considering that it was
That's what I
in
fucking said.
Oh, what's going to happen is it's
very
going to be
prequel.
Here's
Why?
what's going to happen. The first episode is going to mildly be about an investigation, and then the plot will happen, and that will never be revisited. Only the part of.
Well, if it goes like that, Rags, that would be an issue. But you're literally predicting what it will do without like watching it. Let's see how it actually plays out.
The first episode will have anything approaching that kind of a concept for the show.
Well, yeah, because by episode 2, it'll all be revealed, like, who it is and what their motivation is, probably.
We'll be going into space, we'll be doing some...
I like how they're, like, crapping on the show without even watching it, or really even giving it a chance. Great takes, guys.
We'll be tracking someone across the stars.
And then begins the adventure of the galaxy-spanning consequences of the story.
Yeah, we'll learn about why the O in Acolyte is a weird glowing semi-blue
She's looking for like
it's a weird glowing O because probably a stylized thing? People will sometimes just do cool stylized things for their titles because it's cool.
Portal to another dimension or something, and that's why she's killing the Jedi. Not because of any personal grudge or something. She needs their blood to open the doorway.
No, I mean, if he thinks it'll be formulaic, it might be. There's a very strong chance it is a Disney thing. But he's not just predicting that it's formulaic. He's predicting that, like, it will have actual story flaws in it. Significant, like, it will drop plot points. It's specifically what he's predicting. We don't know that. If it does, that's bad form, but we don't know that.
To the different dimension or some shit.
Yeah, because there's an old Force temple on an old planet, and they have to put the thing on the pedestal so that it opens up something to show.
I'm also amused.
I mean, Wallace Gromit fan has a good point here, because that is part of the problem with Efap. If it goes against the formula, they will criticize it for going against the formula and not doing what they expect it to do. If it goes with the formula, or they'll criticize it for being formulaic. And honestly, it's all because they have a preset judgment for a lot of this stuff, which shines through with a lot of stuff. They don't go in there with an open mind.
Used by, like, it'll be something to find out, much like in episode 2, which is why it evokes the prequels.
Something out.
Like,
yes.
Okay.
Remember
tenuous connections here.
Well, to be fair, whenever people ask me, as they often do, Rags, what's your favorite part about Star Wars Episode 2: Attack of the Clones? I say, well, I love it in this movie. It's really about trying to find out something.
That's what we always say.
I think that's really the core of Star Wars.
There's actually a mystery element in Episode 2 as well. Obi-Wan's trying to solve the mystery. God, where did the mystery start? I'm trying to remember. It's been a little bit since I've seen Episode 2. But yeah, there's a mystery subplot to Episode... Oh, yeah. There's an assassination attempt against Amidala. She's sent to hide with Anakin, and he does the mystery to try to figure out who's after her. And then they're acting like they're insulted because mysteries are inherently bad somehow. Seems like a weird take.
Trying to
find stuff out.
Zero.
Yeah, that's what a mystery is, trying to find stuff out. Very good for noticing that. Pretty normal story thing.
Mystery box stuff in the J.J. Abrams Star Wars
Remember
films.
Master Cypher Diaz?
I don't.
Fringy Rags,
You don't ever get to see him.
It's crazy. Say one more time.
Master Cypher Diaz.
Ordered the clones.
No, shut the fuck up. I wanted to see if they say it.
Oh shit.
You said it. Well, you did say it like Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah, he says a lot of things.
Yeah, you were
The whole
referencing
fucking
Obi-Wan
movie.
You're referencing when Obi-Wan Kenobi talks about Master Cypher Diaz.
Yeah.
I still can't get over the fact that we've never heard about Cypher Diaz again.
That's right.
Because he was Master Cypher Diaz was a red herring, guys. Okay? Do they understand the difference between drop plot points and a red herring? Because there are very significant differences. Master Cypher Diaz was kind of like, ooh, who is this guy? and it's a Jedi who died, whose name they were just using for a cover. That there's no other mystery to Master Sifo-Dyas. There's nothing else to it.
That's kind of what I was getting at. Was just the Attack of the Clones is a funny movie.
Yeah.
They're all funny.
It is
the
a weird
prequels.
movie.
No, I have Attack of the Clones is probably my least. Yeah, it's probably my least favorite Star Wars movie. It's pretty down there, if it's not bottom. But yeah, Master Sifo-Dyas was literally just a red herring. That's it.
I love just trying to figure out the whole clone plot thing. It's just bizarre and weird.
I think it's bizarre they're criticizing the fact that it was a mystery. That is... They really don't seem to understand stories at all.
Darth Tyrannus. Anyway, go on.
Attack of the Clones.
I mean, now they've got me defending possibly my least favorite Star Wars movies because they just don't seem to understand story.
It's very influenced by the prequels, as you can tell, and if there's one thing that I love about the High Republic era, that is also...
I don't know that I care.
I don't give it... I don't...
Then don't watch it. Nobody's making you watch it.
Anything doesn't...
Yeah, I know what was really influenced by the prequels. The fucking Obi-Wan Kenobi show.
Yeah,
plenty of prequels in that.
And it isn't even the prequel era. It's the High Republic era, as you've just pointed out, which is a different era than the prequel, so...
Well...
Yes, he's saying this is a story that might help set up the Acolyte for you based on what he knows. He is not saying it's the same air. It helps when you actually watch the video you're critiquing, guys.
You know.
His primary praise, because by the way, for those at home, we're like fucking a third of the way through. His primary praise so far is it's connected to the prequels, not really in story, but sort of in aesthetic.
Yeah. That's
okay, that means nothing in terms of quality, but okay.
Could have assumed
Doesn't mean that
like,
much in
just...
terms of Star Wars. Like, I mean, yeah, like you've been using the same robes and lightsabers and
their roby robes, gray hallways.
Well, if he's saying that the Acolyte
cross guards in that picture, though, to be fair.
Well, if he's saying that the Acolyte is going to be a CGI monstrosity, then yeah, it's going to evoke the prequels really well.
Okay, so that the fact that the prequels are a CGI monstrosity is, I think, a pretty good... that is an issue I have with the prequels, especially watching them now. That being said, one of the things I like about the Acolyte is that, like, there really wasn't much in the way of CGI. It was just people, and I liked it. Like I said, it didn't blow my mind, but it was a solid trailer.
There was some practical stuff there, Rags. You got to say that these days, otherwise you're going to make everyone mad.
There are some practical stuff, whatever, I don't know.
I will say, it's funny to pause this video because most of the time it's him in motion. Like,
yeah, jeez,
the amount of cuts he has of the phew.
Yes, it's a very fast-paced video. That is clearly how he edited it and meant it to be.
I like that he's animated. He's really excited to talk about stuff.
Pointing a lot of things out.
Are essentially Texas Rangers, kind of like traveling around the galaxy.
What?
Huh? Texas Rangers do not travel around the
galaxy.
So, his point is that essentially they're Texas Rangers except they travel around the galaxy. They're intergalactic Texas Rangers. I think that point is obvious. Moving on.
No, come on. He's referencing
galaxy.
The Jedi travel around Texas, and it's very big. It's basically the universe.
Texas is the galaxy.
And they stop crime, and they investigate things, and they have some extra judicial power, and then the lightsaber comes out, and they say...
I mean, they aren't even engaging with really any of his points. They're just shitting on this video for shiggles, I guess.
Stuff, and then Force happens.
And then they go, oh dear, a Sith. And then they go...
Would we have not understood the sentence? They roam around the galaxy like space rangers?
Anything.
No, you have...
Okay, the Texas Rangers, pretty much from the show Walker, Texas Ranger, are kind of just known in our vernacular, so he threw it in there. I think critiquing him just because he threw it in there seems fucking weird.
You have to relate them to the Texas Rangers.
You have to remember this guy he's AI. It's all buzz.
That's an excellent point, Paul, because yes, there are Western elements in Star Wars. Very strong Western elements. I mean, There's a cantina scene in one of the first most famous scenes in all of Star Wars is a cantina scene. That's an excellent point. Because the cantina seems like a staple of old westerns, but like here we are, it's an old western, but we have aliens and shit in it because it's a sci-fi movie too. And there's lots of famous space westerns, but yeah, Star Wars definitely dabbled its toes in that pond quite a bit as well.
I guess it's fine.
He's not gonna. I don't think he's gonna like elaborate on any of these thoughts. It's just gonna be buzzwords and like these just like tweets.
I'll give it to him. This is a better point of something than the previous point he had. The prequel stuff, like just saying, wouldn't it be fun to see a group of Jedi that travel the galaxy searching for answers to a case related to some conspiracy that may be happening? I'm not even sure if I just made that up as opposed to that's what he's saying, but even still, it's a lot to draw from a trailer that doesn't really show you that at all, other than it shows you the Disney version of that.
No. This is all just the meta information about the High Republic that has basically been stated. I feel like this is actually something that's just been stated by writers on that project that's what they are.
Because the trailer just said
Jedi are in that world.
The trailer just said someone's killing Jedi. A darkness is rising.
That's it. Don't use your eyes.
Pretty much.
Like, you can't trust your eyes.
Well, obviously, this guy's a big fan, and he did diving into it more than you guys did. So probably just accept that he knows more about the project than you do. Seems like a reasonable assumption.
Well, I have a feeling that all the investigative portions of it are going to be very fucking lackluster.
Probably. They're going to be shit.
Based on Ahsoka, yeah. Look at her stupid little investigations.
Well, hey, this isn't written by Filoni, so there's a chance it'll be...
Yeah, I will defend Ahsoka, absolutely. Ahsoka was fantastic. I just loved kind of Andor. Andor was the best Disney Star Wars series, but Ahsoka was a solid number 2, and they kind of both fill in, like, really great aspects of Star Wars, in my opinion. Like, you get the gritty... like war combat stuff in on the grounds, fighting this evil empire. You get that in Andor, and then in Ahsoka you get like the fantasy space shit, like the lightsabers going around and having cool duels. That's Ahsoka. They are both fantastic series, and complaining about there being a mystery element in Ahsoka is again annoying, because it's a mystery element. Lots of times. Lots of fiction will dive into mysteries. Not uncommon. And it's just what they do. Yes, Bob, the old ways. They are insufferable. They are overconfident to a fault. Always certain they're right. And they have fans who will raid your channel if you dare criticize them. Which I do often, because they deserve criticized quite a bit.
Okay.
Is it kind of ironic that the TV show trailer essentially begins with the line "Don't trust your eyes"?
It's just
Well, it's what Fringy was bringing up, right? That it's probably going to be thematically relevant, at least as far. Maybe we're giving them too much to say that.
It's going to be.
My guess would be it is like, see, the galaxy looks peaceful, but it ain't, and that's your eyes deceiving you. The Force will guide you.
Remember, old Palpatine tricked them. He clouded them. That's how he did it in the prequels.
That's right.
He put little clouds everywhere.
But again, Anakin kind of trusted in the Force, and that didn't go very well for him.
Yeah, but then Luke did, and it did go well, so there.
That's, so it's all balanced out, yes.
Do you remember when we covered the guy? I don't think Fringy was there, Rags, but the guy who said that the balance of the Force was literally individual users? As in...
I think I know what you're talking about.
The Force always rebalances based on the amount of users there are currently active.
It was Freddie Prinze Jr.
Yeah, no. We covered a video that went over it like in depth with diagrams and showed like the sides and the progress over time, and that Rey was activated because there was too many Sith.
Okay, real quick. They are obviously going B1ER0L14M. They are clearly going into this negatively because they are bashing on this guy for liking a trailer. They are clearly going into it with their evaluation of the series already in the books. It's already trash. Disney Star Wars is trash. It's always trash. Even if it's good, it's trash. And if they could have gotten a grift going off Andor, I'm sure they would have. But like Andor was pretty much well loved by everyone, so it was tough to get anything going on there. Star Wars Theory, to his credit, had just really bad takes on it, but at least it seemed like he was like at least saying his honest takes. But yeah.
Auto led him to that theory. Like, come on,
it's just
don't try too hard. Like, just let it go.
Balance is good. The light side is balance. That's the point.
Yeah, George made it
Good is balance. It's not meant to be like, oh, well, we gotta fucking balance the scales here,
Yeah,
of whether we got enough Jedi or Sith fighting each other.
Disney completely made it so confusing. Like, what is what is this balance now? Like Kylo and like
balance is good.
Trio,
dyad in the Force.
Like, what the fuck does that mean?
You made a duty.
It's almost like it's a teaser trailer meant to whet your appetite and not to explain every single element of the series. God, I would be pissed if trailers were just explaining every other element. Really, like, when trailers do that, that is a sign of a bad fucking trailer.
In the Force.
He did a poopy.
Why'd Palpatine die? He told her.
In the Force.
Danny, though, like,
That's one of the biggest mysteries in all of Star Wars is why Palpatine died. I have to say, and he would
Why'd
not
he die?
if he was killed.
I know about this. He asked me to do it, and he died.
No, the biggest mystery in Star Wars is where's Valorum?
Yes, yes.
That is
I
one.
just assumed he you know.
We're not even on the video. We're like miles away from the video. Where is Valorum? Valorum was kicked out of the Senate pretty much by Palpatine. That was his role in the story. Like, do we need a huge backstory on every single character? I have a feeling if they did that, you guys would complain they're doing that, and if they're not, and clearly if they're not doing it, well, let's complain about that.
Moved away to a nicer planet like Naboo or something like that, got himself a nice cottage, and, you know, he's an old guy, right?
Well, that's the thing, B1. They shouldn't go in expecting the shows to be bad. They should just go in and see what the show gives them.
Didn't Kylo bring his lightsaber? Why did he die from using
Basically,
Throw it in the water.
that's how you win the Star Wars world. People think that the Star Wars world, you want to be a bounty hunter or you want to be some cool Jedi or whatever. It's like, no, fuck all that shit. Get out of this madness. Get yourself a nice little house on some little town in some planet somewhere. Find a lady, settle down. Fucking Ewok.
The guy on the train. You know, in the Dr. Pershing episode.
Oh, definitely the train guy. Yeah. But I also, you know, like Dexter Jester when he was doing his 50s diner. Like when Coruscant was flipped over in terms of who's, you know, currently in power, he was probably fine. Yeah, like Palpatine might even have fucking.
So we're not even on the video at this point, and they're just on the side tangent with the prequels. This was edited, right?
Ordered like, you know, waffles and pancakes or whatever there every morning. You'd be like, yeah, man. Like, you know, you were friends with Obi-Wan? He's like, no, I didn't even know Obi-Wan. I don't know who that is.
No.
I don't know.
You talked about it. You talked about it in the first Kenobi episode, but like Kenobi, it should have been like history of violence, like him trying to like, you know, protect Luke, but without revealing his identity and not revealing that he has the Force. Force him to be in situations where he has to like actually choose. Am I going to let this person die, or am I going to potentially reveal, you know, like my abilities? Like there's just so many things they could have played with having the tension. You don't just need lightsabers. I want to see him cutting meat and stressing over Luke.
Absolutely,
and stressing over the past. And like that first episode, they had something for a second. I remember I watched with my friend. And he was so excited. I'm like, don't calm down. Just
calm down. Wait.
And then I had to like literally convince
Now they're just doing fan fiction of Obi-Wan Kenobi. Cool.
him to watch episode 3 after how bad 2 was.
It all fell apart.
I like that Dexter Jester idea with him and people just kind of coming in. Palpatine just walks in to get breakfast like it's a walk.
Oh, we moved on from Obi-Wan to the prequels again. My God, this is a hell of a tangent.
Waffle House.
It'd be so awesome.
He sits down at the table and he asks Dexter Jester, how come all your forks are shaped like Kamino's saber darts?
Okay, real quick, whoever their editor is, this is something that can easily be cut out, guys. This is a tangent. It has nothing to do with what's currently in the video. Tangents are fine to have a couple in here, but we've been on this for a while. This has nothing to do with anything.
And Dexter Jester says no reason.
How awesome would it be though, like to legit have that scene and like for the actors to play it straight? I feel like all Star Wars fans would enjoy it.
Take it seriously. All these things, they don't take themselves seriously in any situation when they can, and they get so much like people would love it, man.
Well,
like,
Star Wars needs to emulate the Robot Chicken parodies of itself in order to make good content.
Emulate History of Violence. That's a good movie. Metal, we should do a History of Violence episode. It's good.
Okay, so yes, History of Violence is an excellent fucking movie. Excellent. If you haven't seen History of Violence, check it out. It is dark as fuck. But I don't know if necessarily Star Wars needs to do History of Violence. That's... It doesn't really seem like it fit the Star Wars vibe. I'm not saying it's impossible, but that's not something I'd shoot for with Star Wars.
The
Rogue One scene with Vader isn't just referenced because it's a cool action scene. It's because they took it seriously. Like those fucking launch, like they were legit were like look like they're
scared. Yeah,
trying to get their, I loved them. Like holy fuck, this is like a horror scene with Vader. You nailed it. Never did a fucking cool thing with him ever again. How long ago was that? And it's not just the action; it's the tone, and just take it seriously. Take all this seriously, and I'll show
for Rogue One. So almost 8 years on Rogue One this year.
When we were speculating on Obi-Wan Kenobi options, right? Because there's about 10 billion in terms of them being good. And this is something. It's funny because you could just decanonize it and redo it again. They'll never do that, but I don't know why no one's ever tried. Like the.
Yeah, no, there is absolutely in History of Violence. There is very much a grape scene with him and his wife. It's fucking dark as fuck, and so yeah, it's not really a Star Wars thing.
Ditch attempt would be when Obi-Wan is crushed by all the boulders that you bring him in.
Yeah, that's when you do it. Yeah, that makes sense.
That's what I was right at the end, like, hey, let's go for a walk.
Come on now, like
remember when you needed my help and I wasn't there?
Where were you?
Yeah, no, so guys, to fully understand the context here, yeah, no, they're not making fun of him. They're just doing a tangent on Obi-Wan Kenobi. My critique of this part is more that this was left into the video of them covering him. Now, just to like, I think it's good that they aren't spending the whole time just being assholes to him. That being said, it's not going to stop their fans. Their fans will take this and just go after him.
Gone.
Huh? Way gone.
What do you call it?
Don't worry about him. He's Canadian.
All right, that's fair.
Well, yeah, we thought the last ditch attempt would be when Obi-Wan is crushed by all the boulders that you bring him in.
Yeah, that's when you do it.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
We're not
Where
fans
were you
of that show,
fire?
just FYI.
Well,
and enforcing the law whenever they can. So having a show that takes that concept and brings it to life, it really piques my interest a lot. And I just have to say that one shot at the end of the trailer where like all of the Jedi just like whip out and ignite their lightsabers.
Why is it good?
Absolute peak.
Fucking hell.
Say something.
Oh, it's absolutely
He did it.
peak,
so
isn't it?
back.
It's
Peak
absolute
fire.
peak,
We're so
yeah.
back.
Yeah, he liked that scene. Listen, the problem with doing a trailer review is that there's actually not a whole lot to look at. So like, when one of your things about the trailer is, oh yeah, this shot looks cool, that becomes totally valid. And you can even do that for a movie, but like in movie you want a bit more context to it, and unfortunately in trailer you just don't have that fucking context. You don't. But yeah.
We haven't been there, but we've returned. We're back.
Do you ever think that like because
like
that felt like the algorithm thing, like him saying
Jedi
this.
just like whip out and ignite their lightsabers. Absolute peak. Like we are so back.
He must know.
That's
we
not
are
frame
so
result.
back. We are so back. Yeah, this is very robot-y, isn't it?
I almost want to appeal to him pragmatically. I'd be like, you're one of the thousands of people saying this very same thing. Don't you want to have something different to say?
Yeah, Mauler, because that's nobody is talking about the Acolyte like it's gonna suck. Like you're very original too. There's no one making content bashing on the Acolyte right now. Seriously.
Anything different?
Well, yeah, I mean, what chance do you have? What chance do you have? There's a million things like this out there.
We are so back, are we?
Like vapid,
Well, that's the thing.
vapid hype.
Where did we go if you've loved all of this? We haven't gone anywhere. What's wrong? What's happening?
Yeah. Yeah, well,
just had a
how
little
can there be
vacation
so
and now
back?
we're back.
Ahsoka only came out a little while ago.
And Ahsoka was great, right?
There was no coming
Anakin was
back.
in it.
You were already there. We're so there. We were already there, or something.
Fire.
I mean, but what is he? What element of this is he saying makes it?
I mean, you could watch a couple bit more of the video, see if he adds any context to it. Honestly, he could just be saying we're back because it's been a few months since we've had Star Wars content.
Peak, and in that case,
Did you not listen to them? All the lightsabers.
You didn't hear
Turn
the
on all
words
the
the man
lightsabers.
said?
no,
Yeah,
but
they ignited their lightsabers. We're so back.
Do I just have a bad definition of peak? Because peak means
Yes.
like nothing is better than this. Meaning you're saying this is better than anything that's ever happened in.
Okay, so like, technically, yes, that is the definition, but people frequently just use peak to mean it was really fucking good. It's become a slang term at this point. It's not that tricky. I find it really tough to believe you don't know that. You're probably just being glib.
They have
Like,
they
I
have
don't
fucked
think he thinks that.
they have fucked all vocabulary. Every word.
Yeah, this lets us peek into the mind of a madman.
Guys.
Or when your mind has been just absolutely subsumed by internet vernacular and algorithms that
I will say,
guide your choices.
This is the retarded Negaverse version of us saying this is the worst thing I've ever seen, like with a lot of films subsequently. It would be like us saying this is Valley, bro. This is just pure Valley.
Well, I mean, the thing is,
This is pure Valley. We are so not there.
we are really far away, bro.
Very far
the thing is,
away.
though, I've used the term peak recently, and it was when I was doing kind of like a little impressions video on the Tekken 8 campaign. And I do mean it when I say that the last few fights in that game are peak Tekken, because it's like the craziest shit that happens between two of the strongest characters that have been around. Both of them have been around since Tekken 3, one of them since the original game. And it's an epic battle where they end up in space with superpowers and then land on a volcano, which are pretty significant in Tekken, and just have a straight up fist fight that's really
Pretty significant
over the
here.
top.
In the real world,
Sorry?
the volcanoes are.
Yeah,
volcanoes.
But I mean, the guy you're fighting actually was thrown into one by his father. And,
okay.
I mean, personally significant to those two specifically, and the one that you're playing as is the.
Okay, so we're just in Tekken 3, but fortunately now we can now kind of see what they do. So let's jump here.
Peak will leave eventually.
Oh, wow.
Equally.
Oh wow, that was a tangent. They're still on the same thing.
Peak will leave the room, and we will all be happier for it.
But enough about the Jedi. Let's switch over and talk about the dark side and the Sith. Consider
He was like
Enough
giving
about the
some karate
Jedi.
chop.
You barely
You
said
didn't talk
anything.
about him.
He said
You said
they're
they-
Space Texas Cowboys.
That's it. Yeah.
That's enough.
And then they ignited their lightsabers, and
Yeah.
it is peak, and we're so back, and now
They've invaded.
we're now back to the Sith.
This is what I mean
he
about
has
the
a point.
distractions, like in his editing, where like it's distracting.
Like I said, if you just sat down and watched the video, it plays fine. But like if you pause every 5 seconds, yeah, shit like that will bug you.
Like he hasn't said anything. Now he's just like, oh, enough of the Jedi. You haven't said shit. Like you
Well,
just,
and so for anybody, we're halfway
Grab the
through
right
now.
side.
That's half of the points done,
Yeah.
All right.
oh my god.
in theory.
considering that their presence is just kind of looming over this entire teaser.
I mean, looming. They're like
What do you
actively
mean,
attacking.
Looming? It's just, yeah,
They're just-
look, that's
It's about
her.
them.
It's
It's
got a
about them.
knife. Just
She's
get a
right
knife.
there.
They're just yeah. It's about them.
Assuming this is a
Yeah,
dark
is
side
it- wait.
person, I don't even know. Who knows? Because this could just be
Can't-
some random assassin, right? Like not
I mean,
random.
yeah,
It won't be
Carrie
random in the
Moss
story,
is
but
the-
it may not be a Sith assassin.
I feel like
Paul.
Carrie Moss is the Sith Lord person.
Hey, I'm leaving it
I
open.
mean, I can't help but think that like, why do they have her here if they're not going to like make her the one to whom someone becomes an acolyte? Presumably this.
Well, so here's a radical.
I mean, that sounds like a strong possibility. That would be pretty standard, but like, we don't know. We haven't seen yet.
Thought we had these thrown out for Obi-Wan, and then it turned out to be true. Like, maybe she's gonna be a good guy by the end of the season.
Yeah.
I mean,
Doesn't that sound like the kind of shit Disney Star Wars do? Where they're just like,
Yep.
she's
100%.
misunderstood, or she's trying to kill the Jedi because they know they can't. I was about to throw in,
yeah.
like, they can't know a secret, and then I was just like,
Reba!
fucking whatever. It doesn't need a reason. It would just be like, oh, I misunderstood. I thought you guys were the bad guy. It's just like, yeah, whatever, fine.
My first take when I saw them fighting is that like they're both going to be redeemed at the end or anything. Like they can't be made. They're not going to make a bad female character. It's just as Disney. They just can't.
Yeah,
Which
she's
just
gonna
feels
turn out
like,
to be good, and yeah.
Like Reba.
When designing stories,
Not gonna make a bad female character. Yeah, you know, they aren't doing woke arguments at all, guys. Don't worry.
in the little boardroom, it really does feel like someone says, bad guy turns good? Yeah, all right. Nice.
Oh, great idea.
All right, see you tomorrow, guys. That's it. Like, pretty much that's most of the season.
That's all they learned from the OT, like the fact that Vader sacrificed. They just don't understand why it was significant. They just
Listen,
try
bad
to
guy
repeat
lady
it over
turned
and over
good.
again. That's it.
And then they have like some intern be like, what do we put in the middle? And it's like, come up with something. It's like, what if the little girl was chased by many grown men in a forest? That could be good. Yeah, let's do that.
Excellent.
That was the scene. That was the one.
God.
Let's make it go on for a really long time.
I love that the fucking actress, Baby Leia, like she made fun of that scene.
Okay, so you know this is kind of sticking with me because they're to bring up how they'll never make a woman the bad guy. So real quick, last Star Wars series, Morgan Elsbeth, one of the main villains of Ahsoka. You know, she never gets redeemed. She's just a fucking villain throughout the whole fucking thing. Just gonna point that out. Yeah, she is questionable at best in Ahsoka. Questionable at best. This is one of the main villains in Andor. A woman, not redeemed. So yeah, just saying that women aren't bad guys in Star Wars, pretty weak all of a sudden. Yeah, Ventress from Clone Wars, there's another one. Just, yeah, there's plenty.
As she should.
Or whichever one. Yeah,
she made fun of that and the cloak thing, right?
She was adorable, and she was actually a good actress when they gave her like content for the few scenes. Like she doesn't deserve that show. I don't think it'll follow her at all.
No, I hope
No one
not.
deserves that show.
But she didn't deserve it. It's just like I just the whole thing with Jake Lloyd and everything. I see her being stronger than that. I think she's gonna like acknowledge what that was. I don't know.
Well,
I would hate to see
Jake
that
Lloyd
kid
has
screwed up.
schizophrenia. I think he's diagnosed with a mental illness, but
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
whereas
and
she's just a
I
woman,
mean,
so.
that's
I
tough
think
to overcome.
people try to claim that the pressure of what happened with Star Wars is what gave him schizophrenia, but I think his mum has said that's not true.
Oh, okay. So narrative that people just jumped. Yeah, that's the thing, man.
Let's be honest. People love a chance to say toxic fans are the worst. They ruin people's lives and all this stuff. When we wouldn't advocate for or ever do any kind of sending messages to actors, that makes no sense.
No. Look at all the Rose Tico shit.
But yes, your fans do. Your fans do quite often. And it's not necessarily that you guys are saying you guys have to do this, but just the way you guys do your thing. The way you insult people. Part of my issue with a lot of guys like Efap, and it's not just him, but it's also Nerdrotic and Critical Drinker, and they can all get clumped into this, is that they are killing the art of critique. Because there is an art to critique, and they are fucking suffocating it. There is a way to critique things. Number one, I think to critique something properly, it has to come from a love of the medium. You first step is loving the medium. If you're going to critique it and not love the medium, then you're fucking stopping. Just don't do it. You need to go into it with a love of the medium. And then what you have to also do is try as much as possible to respect the artist. The artist who put a lot of hard work into it. Making a movie, The Acolyte, even though it's like a series, it's owned by Disney, it's a big studio production, even something like that is a very hard thing to do. And sometimes it can even be harder for artists to work under studio supervision and studio interference. It can be even harder sometimes. So it's important as a critic to understand that what you just saw, no matter how bad you thought it was made with hard work and dedication. And when it is important when you critique stuff to critique it not because it's woke or too many or not enough lady villains or anything like that, but to critique it on its own merits. And also to fully embrace the fact that, like, and I think it's important, this is kind of important for the viewers of the critique to understand as well. That reviewer is giving you their own personal opinions with their own biases. And if the reviewer knows their own biases, it's important for them to state them up front. So I guess a fair way for Efap to do this is to be like, at the beginning of this, essentially say, hey, we hate all Disney Star Wars stuff. We're gonna hate all Disney Star Wars stuff. And we're going to make fun of all people who like Disney Star Wars stuff. I mean, I guess if they said that at the beginning, it'd be honest. But yeah.
Like, what? Who gave...
Yeah, well, other than when actors themselves put out a message saying, like, fuck all of you.
Well, Glippy, the way they talk about media, they do not act like they care or about the medium at all. Like, the fact is, they were just complaining about, like, mysteries existing in media. Fucking mysteries. That's just a storytelling story. Like, that's just a common thing to do in stories, is to have a mystery. It's insane. Like, you could say, hey, a critique could be, hey, this mystery goes on a bit too long. Hey, this mystery didn't seem like it had high enough stakes for me, so I didn't really get engaged. Those are critiques, but critiquing it just because it is a mystery is not a critique.
You know, if they do something like that, but never for their performances.
No.
Even if they're shit. Sometimes when they're shit performances, it's funny. Look at Madam Web.
I think so many people were able to separate. Like, I'll give you another good example. Kramer from Seinfeld. I know so many black people who still enjoyed his character as Kramer, even though, remember that racist rant he went on, like, ruined his career, like, 10 years ago?
Yeah.
You always get that.
Where he dropped a few N-bombs.
Yeah, but you make your decision there of just, like, you know, on one side, like, black person, you're offended, but on the other side, man, just having a bad set. Like, it's just like, you separate these things, you know? Because Kramer, that performance is iconic. I'm not going to just shit on that. Kevin Spacey is another one.
Yeah, I was about to say, it's the eternal question behind every movie Kevin Spacey's ever been in, which was good, which sadly is quite a few.
Okay, so actually to add a serious interjection to their actual conversation, which seems like they're on a nerd tangent here, Kevin Spacey is tough for me to watch anymore. Not so much Michael Richards, although it's not like he's got Seinfeld, and then he did a pretty funny movie called Trial and Error with Jeff Daniels not long after Seinfeld, and then he did the racist rant. But Kevin Spacey is really tough to watch anymore, because I used to think he was a brilliant actor, because, like, he added this undercurrent of creepiness to all his performances for the most part that I thought was really well done. Like, this awkward creepiness, that undercurrent. And then now, when I watch his stuff, which is not that often, that awkward undercurrent comes off in a whole different way, because he's a PDF file. And that undercurrent comes off, and it's like, oh, that creepy undercurrent probably was less intended and more just kind of who he is. Ugh. And Kevin Spacey's been one that I can't really watch his stuff anymore. It's tough.
Yeah, I mean, he's an undeniably fantastic actor. He's just a piece of shit.
He's a creepy fucker. That's part of the reason that it comes across in all of his performances. Like, I watched American Beauty in the theater when I was, like, in 98.
Wow. Oh my god, are we agreeing on a point? That is shocking. That is shocking.
So I would have been like 8, and it's like, yes. And my mom would take me to these things. They didn't give a fuck. I just remember being like, this is the creepiest fucking man I've ever seen in a movie. Why'd they take me to this? This is so awesome.
Yeah, they go, you put that with Seven and House of Cards. It's just like this calculated, manipulative, horrible monster. Like, you're really good at playing that guy.
Yeah, he's so good, man. I think some of
does
the
it
best
really count
actors,
as him being an actor then?
Yes, you took it right out of my mouth. Some of the best actors have to have a little bit of themselves in the performance. He's an actually creepy fuck. Denzel's actually a cool motherfucker. Christian Bale, I think, has some serious anger issues.
And Anthony Hopkins eating plenty of people.
Actually old, yeah.
Yeah. Fava beans. I think a piece of...
Well, Anthony Hopkins is really creepy, but I don't know anything about him being a creep or anything. Okay, this is almost done.
But it has to be real. Peace for some of the best.
It's very rare that things as simple as lightsabers tend to
fuck
pique
this
my
guy.
interest.
Oh man,
However, that
yeah.
one shot, the red lightsaber igniting and being thrown at the end of this trailer.
Tell me why it's good. Come on, I beg you. Give me something, anything,
Tell me why
please.
it's good. Do it.
Well, he's not going to be able to give you much because it just looks cool. That's all he's going to be able to give you. And I agree, it does look cool. But it's just a teaser trailer. We don't have much.
Really piques my interest a lot, actually.
You already said that about the other stuff.
Because he doesn't have context, guys. It's a trailer review. This is why it's honestly tough to do trailer reviews. And it's easy to shit on them.
That was Pig and this one picture interest, but why?
Tell me why.
Now,
so
to be
tired.
fair, Peak and they are two different peaks. One is PEAK and the other is PIQUE.
You know which one he's using.
Oh, yeah.
That's technically
I was
two
thinking
different
about that.
uses.
I didn't-
Now, if he was to spell them out, I don't know if he
I'm
would
saying
know
his
that there's a
interest
difference,
was piqued earlier. I'm pretty sure he mentioned that about the fact that it's Jedi detectives or whatever. He's like, oh, my interest is piqued.
my interest was piqued by the Peak Fire. That's why I
Mainly
peeked
because,
into the
like,
trailer.
The Sith are
See, that's three peaks, three different peaks.
Damn.
not really
PEAK, PEEK.
around, or at least the Jedi are led to believe. If you're asking me, I feel like this show has the potential to fill in some gaps of the prequels and explore the Sith unlike ever
Why? What? How?
How?
It's got
He's just giving his guesses. Because it could absolutely do that. But again, we're looking at a trailer. He's giving what he hopes the show will be. And you're shitting on him just for having hopes for the show?
100 years before the prequels.
Yeah.
This is like saying-
Fill the
this is like
gaps in
saying,
the prequels. 100.
Because the prequel, it could give us some backstory into the Sith that the prequels use as well. It's like you can fill in gaps from 100 years ago. Jesus Christ.
Years before they happened. What?
This is
Like
like
the
saying that
Star
All Quiet on the Western Front is going to fill in some gaps from the Hurt Locker. And I'm like, I don't know, guys. This is
Okay, well, yeah, that doesn't quite work because those are entirely different genres, or not entirely different universes. Hell, the Hurt Locker is based on a true story, isn't it? I'm pretty sure it is.
an odd one. It's a bit of a stretch.
What the fuck is that? That's such a good point. But this guy's
I
just saying
totally thought
absolute
the end of
nonsense.
that sentence
Like,
was going to be
you know?
Saving Private Ryan, and it was way funnier that it was Hurt Locker.
Yeah, it's about 100 years, so you know it's about appropriate.
My God. So desperate to even claim anything is happening because nothing's happening. Like,
This is a prime example. I'm telling you, for anyone in the chat who's like, "Oh, the pauser," if you're new for this type of shit, this is why you pause. You'll miss how fucking stupid this is. Like, this is like he's not saying anything. All of this is just complete nonsense. Like, it's so bizarre to see this.
Well, actually, I think Archmage Fry, you're actually close to what could be a good example to explain what this guy is talking about. Because let's say you have a World War II pick, and it's about World War II. And then he said, well, you know, next they're going to do a World War I movie to fill in the gaps. And I think that could help fill in some of the gaps with this World War II movie, which it absolutely could. The after effects of World War I led to World War II. So yes, it is more than possible to go into the past and fill in gaps for something that comes up later.
I don't even know what it could be. It'd have to be like Yoda backstory because he'd be alive.
I mean, unless he means
Or-
lore. Like, does he mean lore stuff? Because do they care about lore?
Valorum.
less. I don't even know if they know the meaning. They might be like the law, like LAW, and you're like, no, this like stories that happened before.
Peek in the law.
Maybe even giving us our first live-action look at Darth Plagueis.
Oh, fuck off.
No, I don't. Fuck off.
Okay,
Don't
let me
give
be
a
clear.
shit.
Let me be clear, because this is going to be people who be like, whoa, why do you hate...
That is such an artful critique. Fuck off. Very artful.
It's like, it's not about that. It's the, like, I wish I could see a video from someone who speculates Plagueis showing up and then follows up with why they would like that to be explored, what it's going to mean to the characters, why we would discuss.
I would assume it's because he's a fan of the prequels and would like that to further be explored. I mean, do you want him to do a small essay on it?
More and maybe even reference to like third-party stuff or EU that's been lost now about like how there was a really meaningful story that regarded Plagueis that they could maybe adapt. Like, just please give me something instead of the guy, the one.
he described it.
Listen, I will say they don't usually call stuff woke, but they do hang with people who call stuff woke. And they do streams defending people who call stuff woke. They just don't actually call stuff woke that often.
The key he wants to see jangled. He didn't describe a character that he wants to see.
Well,
that's what's
maybe he will in the remaining like minute of the video. Who knows?
That's what happened to Thrawn, I'm assuming.
Oh, yeah.
After all the hype, I'm just like, okay, give it to me. Space Tywin. I've heard all this shit. I can't believe we got that coping asshole. Like, it's just...
They did
I think he's
better on Rebels.
I'm not even kidding. It was
wrong, but
I think I'd first heard of Thrawn before we'd even started Efap and stuff. Obviously, because he's not exactly a young character in terms of Disney canon.
1990.
Oh, well, I mean, you guys get really offended by the whole guilt by association thing. I think the fact, well, number one, it's not even necessarily guilt by association, because one of the points I brought up was that they defend them. It'd be one thing, like, just hanging out with them regularly without questioning a lot of the shit they say, that's one thing. But they defend them actively.
93, I think, was
but
when
like,
that book came out.
I hadn't heard of him because I didn't really explore the extended stuff, or expanded universe, I guess it was called, right? But like the thing we'd said for like years on end on EFAP is you don't want him because they'll ruin him, and it's so weird to think now. Like they did, it took years, but they had him and they ruined him. And it's like, is Plagueis the next one? It's like, yeah, probably. Yeah, it's probably the next one's coming, and he's going to be ruined.
That's what I was saying. I feel like he's going to be the next Thrawn in terms of the same pattern, because this guy is like, more people probably know about Plagueis because of the prequels than Thrawn, and Thrawn was still like hyped and completely obliterated. From the performance to
Thrawn was not completely obliterated. I would have liked to see a better strategy from him. I thought his strategy was pretty basic. I thought the actor did a great job with him, though. I mean, he's hardly ruined. I'm sure we'll get more Thrawn later.
His everything, his posture, his little pot belly, like, just nothing was working. And I don't botch this one leave this alone.
Thrawn's pot belly. You know, Thrawn's supposed to be a mastermind, not like a physically, like I think he's supposed to be fairly tall, but he's not supposed to be, like, ripped or anything like that. He's brilliant. The scary thing about Thrawn is his fucking mind.
Leave. I don't ever want to see it.
But like, is it not indicative to you that it's just like, that is Star Wars, isn't it? And that's how it churns the fans forward. It's just like, well, we haven't ruined this.
We could see this guy that hasn't here.
They can't, like, we know this actually has an effect. They can't. Nobody's saying like, I hope Boba Fett gets his own X. It's like, yeah, because they did it. They spent the card. It's done. It's over.
Yeah, it's ruined. Good job, guys.
Not to say that if they made a sequel trilogy that people wouldn't be, the sequel season, that people wouldn't be like, ooh, you know, there'd still be some hype, but like, you've killed the majority of it. It's just like, so, because Plagueis, thinking about it, that is digging a bit. You know, he's no Obi-Wan Kenobi.
I will agree to a degree they did kind of ruin Boba Fett a bit. And not necessarily, like, here's the deal, like, if you take that Boba Fett series and examine each episode, like, individually on its own, they're actually decent, but the problem is they got distracted. Like, midway through it, like, for like 2 episodes, and it's only a 6-episode series. We're building up, like, for first 3 episodes, we're building up Boba Fett's arc, and then we take a derailment from that arc for 2 episodes to do a Mando story, and then we come back to Boba Fett, and it's before we had time to really, like, give Boba Fett his full arc. So the issue was less that, like, any of the individual episodes were bad, as much as the Boba Fett series need to focus a lot more on Boba Fett and less on Mando, as much as I love Mando.
He's no, like, Clone Wars show. This is a character that some people may not even know what we're talking about when we say Darth Plagueis. For instance, like, because for a lot of people, he's only referenced, in Revenge of the Sith, and that's it, right?
That's what I was saying, but that might be enough, like, that's for the casuals.
That's what I'm getting at, is they have squeezed so much of Star Wars. You just like, what do they have left? And they've started, like, it would be useful to have Ryan here to sort of explain this, but they squeeze the shit out of expanded stuff without people mostly knowing. Like, they've stolen so many character ideas and then, like, ruined them. Yeah. It's remarkable, actually. Like, if we had 100 things they could have gotten to, they've gotten to like 60, 65, and it just feels we're gonna keep going, and the Plagueis may be next on the plate at some point.
just what can we use? What can we like just milk? There's just no storytelling.
I'm shocked they haven't used Revan or Darth Bane yet, because those are probably
those will probably come up.
Sith Lords.
I mean, I'm sure they will, because those are characters that the fan base love and would like to see an adaptation of. It won't surprise me if George Lucas had something about Mara Jade not appearing, because I'm sure they would love to do Mara Jade. And I thought, I don't see any issue doing expanded universe stuff as long as they do a decent job with it.
Starkiller. As
I'm not sure if they want to canonize Starkiller at all.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
I don't think so. Especially when they have Starkiller base, you know, there's like there's a little bit too much overlap.
Never even played the game.
Theirs.
I never even played the game.
But they steal.
I distinctly remember.
I think they would rather
try
to make their own stuff.
What,
Like
Ray?
They might. What they might do is bring in,
That's the thing.
announce that we're going to be having a new character that was an apprentice of Darth Vader. It's going to be played by Sam Witwer.
Okay, so I don't think it's Disney not wanting Mara Jade, but pretty famously, let me see if I can find a story. But fairly famously, George Lucas really dislikes the character of Mara Jade, and I actually don't know the full context as to why. I'd have an issue with Mara Jade, per se. Hold on. Okay, so here's an article by Looper. I'm not really familiar with them. Did George Lucas really hate Luke Skywalker's wife, Mara Jade? Even if she's yet to make a canonized Star Wars appearance, Mara Jade remains a fan favorite character within Star Wars legend, previously known as Star Wars Expanded Universe. First appearing in Timothy Zahn's Thrawn novel trilogy, the Emperor's Hand turned Jedi Master was prized for her skilled fighting abilities and dedication to the Jedi after marrying Luke Skywalker. However, it has long been rumored that George Lucas himself was not a fan of the character. This largely stems from an interview with Total Film where Star Wars creator denied her place in the canon. The Star Wars story is really the tragedy of Darth Vader, Lucas said. Once Vader dies, he doesn't come back to life. The Emperor doesn't get cloned. Luke doesn't get married, but it appears that Lucas's supposed hatred for the character herself was blown out of proportion. Interview with Star Wars Theory. Michael Stackpole, best known for authoring the X-Wing novel series, explained that Lucas would not have approved of Jade if he did not want to. I know that Tim Zahn met George Lucas and they had a sit-down conversation before the first book was done. I know that, as with any of the novels, and by the way, actually, I read the X-Wing, at least the first series of X-Wing books he did back in the day, Michael Stackpole. Everything is cleared through Lucas and 100%. So he did clear Mara Jade. Maybe, I don't know. I do think it's interesting they haven't introduced Mara Jade if they aren't going. Like, I kind of just assumed they weren't going to and the rumors were true, but maybe they're not. Maybe I'm not. I do think it's weird they haven't introduced Mara Jade then.
You'll understand. Everyone's going to get super hype, and then they release the show and it's terrible, and we go, oh.
I think he might. I think he might be a character in that new Ubisoft game coming out.
Bob the Old Ways, yeah. I think an A Street of Luke Skywalker would actually make sense. Yeah.
Outer Worlds one, or what? I don't know. Whatever.
We certainly still participates. Something the Theory brought up on one of our latest Stargraphs was that he's sad that there used to be a time, and because it's one of the clips I reference in EFA Part 4, I think, of or 3, where Sam Witwer was making fun of TLJ on his live stream, and he says like, yeah, that was like one of the last times you'll get that. He doesn't do it anymore. Like he's not that honest about his perspective on Star Wars anymore, because, you know, you can't be and simultaneously continue to work for them. And it sucks because I'm sitting here like, that is shit actually, because yeah, you kind of need to toe the line somewhat if you want to make a difference from the inside, you know.
Play the game.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny, right? Because you might see Jon Favreau or Dave Filoni as being that kind of thing, and it's just like,
well, I mean, there is a degree of diplomacy to with your coworkers that you have to adhere to. Because that's the thing to keep in mind. Sam Witwer, a lot of the people who work on Star Wars and people who worked on Last Jedi are his coworkers.
why aren't they have power now? Use it. Make good change if you can.
But the people who do that, look what happened. I feel like Edward Norton would have been a better Hulk. He would have had the balls. We've talked about this before.
Oh, sure, yeah, but he's just too disagreeable, right?
and he's probably he could get called problematic. Henry Cavill for wanting to like stick to the lore. Jenna Ortega.
Okay, so they keep on saying Henry Cavill left because he wanted to stick to the lore. It has never been released why Henry Cavill left. It is completely undisclosed.
Well, as much as
difficult.
I get what you're saying, it could be something that we're not like. It could have been that working with Edward Norton is so fucking difficult you never want to work with him again, sort of thing. Could be that.
I would like to know. Well, one thing. I can't remember where I heard it, but I do remember him saying that he wanted it to be like much more gritty. He wanted the Incredible Hulk, the movie, to begin with him trying to kill himself. Well, he wanted a much darker version of it. And
yeah,
that
keep
alone
in mind, he wanted, I think, he had his own script and he wanted to film his own scenes, like while they were filming the scenes for the main directors, so he could present like his own ideas. Which
maybe a bit of both.
I was going to say that's quite an ask, considering Joss Whedon got cancelled for having said like "fuck you" to people giving him script notes, like not even filming their own shit. Like imagine directors who just aren't interested at all. And then you go like, yeah, can we just take 5 to film my scene? You'd be like, no, you fucking delusional freak. Like, why would we ever do that? We're like, okay, jeez.
How do you get to the point that you're in business together, making a film, and you guys don't have like your mutual interests established and like clearly like?
I actually think that's probably more common the higher the budget goes, because everyone's thrown together, like, and just like make.
Yeah, it's about right to say. In lots of these high budget movies, it's just people who work together. Let's see. I feel like we're on a tangent right now. And I will say Joss Whedon, I think, is a very talented guy, but he's also an asshole.
That was the only part of the show that had anything to it.
I think Balin and Dwalin were quite good, and during his strong moments, Thorin's very good. The problem is Thorin's hit and miss, but...
You know what? I haven't seen the movie...
So we're on Hobbit.
Long enough. Maybe I shouldn't say that, but I'll get back to you on that.
The problem is, like...
Yeah, we gotta get back to Plagueis.
Yeah, we gotta talk to Plagueis.
He might be. Might be here.
Look at that image. His eyes and a cloak and red.
Doesn't mean anything to me.
Yes, it does. It's peak cool Sith.
Shadow and flame.
It's fucking I just do
with the Dark Plagueis. I don't know. I'm just kind of spitballing here.
Oh, so it wasn't meaningful. It was just spitball. Plagueis will show up.
Admit it.
God damn it.
This is nothing more than speculation. However, considering that everything...
Why do you keep doing that with his hands? He like puts them like they're like he's like karate chopping, and
because he's presenting an energy with his video. That's it.
Karate chop.
He's karate chopping your bad opinions with his good ones.
Is that a wedding ring that's black?
Has really been
on his finger.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. I was gonna say something when people said he's like 20 years old. I was like, I don't know. He's
well, it doesn't have to be a wedding ring, I guess, but it's weird to put it on that finger if it's not.
Yeah,
like that's.
And it is on your wedding ring's on your left hand, right?
How common is it for people to wear rings there when they're not married?
I have no idea.
I mean, most people would.
Probably not super common.
It shouldn't be common at all. Yeah.
Yeah, most people would do that.
I'm trying to think of the last time.
Listen, look at him. He clearly doesn't wear a whole lot of bling. He's probably married.
I've seen that, and it's like,
one of you. Hey, one of you, go on Twitter. Just ask him. It's like, hey, I noticed in your video you wear a black wedding
Yeah, this is so weird. Like, who cares?
ring. What's up with that?
Oh, I thought you were going to say, right, like do a poll to see if people do it, and then I was like, yeah, but you got to apply to the algorithm. So find out about a distant fucking fun fact about Star Wars, and go like, do you guys? I can't stop thinking about the bonus blah blah blah, and then right at the end say like, by the way, do you ever see people with wedding rings where they don't have? Just the people answer.
I can't get over the fact that despite not being.
Wow, guys, this isn't that tough. Okay, so, like, when someone doesn't wear a whole lot of jewelry, like this guy pretty clearly doesn't wear a whole lot of jewelry, it's safe to assume the ring finger on his left hand having a single ring that looks like a wedding band is probably a fucking wedding band. That being said, if you see somebody with a whole bunch of rings and stuff like that, you know, it's kind of questionable. That being said, if they, even on their left hand ring finger, if they have like just a plain band on there, that's probably a fucking wedding ring. It's not that tough.
Being married, Han Solo was wearing a wedding ring for the entire original trilogy.
Have you guys seen this typically in your life, your day to day? Is this normal? People don't answer the poll; they just like the tweet. It's like fuck.
Despite taking place entirely in the Star Wars universe,
Yes, they are stuck on his wedding ring. It's weird.
Han Solo looks exactly like Harrison Ford.
Whoa.
Coincidence?
I can't stop thinking about it.
Under wraps
Wow.
about the show until now. I feel like they're hiding something big. However, I guess we'll find out when the series.
He just
really?
always
Why?
starts with a karate chop. Every time it cuts to him, he karate
Why do you
chops
think they're
the
hiding
camera.
something big? Do you think that they would ever hide something from a show that's many, many, many minutes longer than 2 minutes?
So here's the thing. I think they need to pull out some stops here because people aren't going to care about this show. I don't think.
No, they
nothing.
need to show something.
Like,
Like, get
the-
people. Oh,
It's
shit.
not just
Anakin.
when we say key jangling, we're not just talking about the insipid and fucking substanceless form of marketing. It's like, well, it does work somewhat. It gets people to be like, "Oh, I'll watch this. Yoda's in it. I like that guy."
People like the
This
Kenobi
gets-
trailer.
If
Duel of the
gets
Fates,
to
they
season
play that,
85,
and that's
Anakin
it.
will show up.
All right, I think we're almost done with the coverage, Dane. So I will hop over there in just a moment.
So yeah, I would
Play Duel
expect
of the
them
Fates. That's
put
their
it
trump card.
in trailers, but like but
Oh, I have to look.
like to speculate like Darth Plagueis could show up. It's like you do know that most Star Wars fans don't even know like how much of an implication on anything that is.
Well, then they need to do a good job with him. So even if people don't know who he is, they can get think he's a cool character. But a lot of Star Wars fans will probably pick up on that if they're familiar with Revenge of the Sith.
It'll be like, oh, okay.
I mean, there's going to be more fans interested in Plagueis than there will be in Thrawn.
You get the people who are obsessive in a good way. Like, you know, even us, we know somewhat of what he means. But I mean, first of all, it's Disney. But secondly, if he was to turn up at the end of the season, for example, and it's like, oh my god, he was the one pulling all the strings. Whoa, get ready for Acolyte season 2. We're all gonna be like,
Wow.
okay. Not gonna beat anything. He's just fucking Snoke, I guess. He's just like, but is he gonna be killed before the prequels? Like,
Don't remind me.
Maybe one of the 27 Snoke clones. Or
The first snow clone ever got sent
God.
400 years, or like 200 years back in time.
Pouring
the
out for
worst.
Snoke.
pour now.
Look at how bad the ending one
Pour it
was.
into the
Just
skull's
imagine how bad the
face,
first one
Snoke's
was.
face.
Fucking hell.
Through the portal that the lady opens with the Jedi blood.
I still think we could fix the whole franchise if we make Snoke the woman in the archives Obi-Wan talks to in Attack of the Clones. That is the key. It just, don't you think it brings everything together? Kind of, it's like, oh shit, that makes sense.
Start
I mean-
streaming
Just making up shit at this point.
on Disney Plus this June. You can rest assured I've already planned to cover every single episode on this channel.
Does this not feel more like an ad than a breakdown?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an ad for his channel. He's inviting you to watch his channel. By the way, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe to this video. Thank you.
I'm telling
Yeah,
you,
it's
it's
just
like,
an ad.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, seriously, like this stream, and when this gets cut into a video, like it. YouTube algorithm is medieval. Please help me out. It's a struggle sometimes. I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but I do get some hate. It'd be nice to get some likes too.
it's a
Yeah,
TikTok
Star Wars is
video.
back. Peak Fire. I'll cover all the episodes here on this
Oh, the
channel.
You know, you don't have to watch the series. You don't have to watch this channel. It's just that simple.
Wow, can't wait to see what it is. We are so back, everybody.
He was
Until then,
talking
we-
though. He was talking about doing reviews of the show in YouTube short format. So I think that this is him trying
be
to
fair.
figure that out.
He was talking about Bad
It
Batch when he
matches-
said that because nothing
Yeah, how dare he try to work out a format on his channel?
happens
Oh,
in
was it
Bad Batch
Bad Batch?
episodes.
Okay.
Like, this is a man who he's struggling to get to 3 minutes talking about this trailer. Meanwhile, we nearly got to an hour talking about the trailer. I'm not even kidding.
You were talking about him, talking about the trailer, and there's a fuck ton of tangents in this.
20 minutes on the beard guy.
Exactly. So
We did more than
Yeah, so he actually did a very tightly edited video. Extremely tightly edited video. Very quick cuts, very designed to be a high energy video, which you want a high energy video to be very tight, cut together. Yes, Dane, there are Efap fans in there. Just yeah. I've had to time out. Well, only one, but yeah. They haven't been too bad, but they're definitely there. But yeah, no, this guy's obviously doing a high energy, that's the vibe he's going for with the video. While you guys just do a meandering back and forth doing 50 million tangents, yeah, your videos will be longer. That's the nature of your different formats.
His video with 1 second.
But doesn't that I feel like that's indicative of a genuine passion, and I hate using that word, but like what I guess I'm thinking about is like we're trying to explain why we have the points of view we have based on everything that we've experienced with everything up to this point and what we think.
I'm not gonna lie, yeah, you guys took the bait really quickly. It's kind of, come on, man, Jesus Christ.
This is going to be. Meanwhile, he's like, lightsabers, looking good, let's go. Yeah, okay.
My interest.
Yeah, like, do you like this stuff, man? Like, really? Or do you just think it looks nice?
It's pretty peak.
Well, when it's just a trailer, that's about all you have to go on. Does it look nice? It's a trailer. It's supposed to be like the highlight reel.
Every single episode on this channel. Until then, we can't really do anything else other than speculate, so I'm very excited for the show.
You've done basically nothing.
He's barely speculated, yeah.
Speculation.
He hasn't said anything.
How is this a breakdown?
He actually did a whole lot of speculation, saying, I wonder if Darth Plagueis will be involved. He's wondering if the Sith will be, if they'll fill out some of the storyline of the Sith in the prequels. Now, he didn't do a ton of speculation because it's a 4-minute video.
He just threw out, maybe Plagueis will show up. I don't know, lol.
Has he even talked about Yoda? Has he even talked about the potential of Yoda, what it would mean, and what it could add? It'll fill in gaps in the prequels. That's what it'll do.
That would actually be a big indicator of if he actually does care, because one of the potentials should be Yoda, and if he cares, he should mention that. But I just feel like he's just throwing shit out.
The vibe of the trailer, I think it's going to be great. And beyond that, I'm going to take this time to recommend Light of the Jedi by Charles Soule. If you've never read that, it's a great introduction to the High Republic era of Star Wars. Absolutely phenomenal book. Cannot recommend it.
Why?
Why? Why would I fucking do that? What's good about it?
Because it's a book he likes that he thinks links well to the Acolyte. You, Jesus Christ.
He literally said
read
it like an ad.
Yeah, like he didn't tell us anything about why.
He said it's a great.
I mean, the very point of his channel was to be positive about Star Wars. So he's like, hey, if you think Acolyte looks cool, here's another piece of Star Wars media I suggest you looking into. Jesus Christ. These guys are acting like this is some sort of insult that he did this. This is just actual. That's the problem. Like, these guys can't actually handle real fandom. They can't. These guys just know toxic fandom. So, like, somebody who comes up and says, hey, I really like this, I think this is a pretty good show, I think, or even in this case, just saying it's a good trailer. Oh, wow, I thought that was a good trailer, and putting it out there and being positive about it, and these guys can't handle that. They have to be bullies and bring them down, because that's all they know. They just know how to hate on shit. It's pretty fucking sad.
Introduction to the High Republic. It's really good. Here's who wrote it. You should tell me about it, man.
Yeah, like what
who was your favorite character in it?
His whole point is if you thought this trailer looked cool, you should check out this book. That's it.
Without spoiling, why, what character dynamics or adventures? How do they?
He's not here to do a book review. He's giving you a suggestion based on the trailer.
Just tell me anything about. It's a book. Things that happen in it, right?
All these words in it you can tell me about. It's crazy.
You can release videos every day
on a rescue mission. Like there's a million possibilities what this book could be about, and he didn't try to illustrate anything.
They got a dinosaur guy. What's his story? What's he do?
Things to find out or something.
Isn't he like one of Bosk's Jeez, how do you do the possessive of Bosk?
Bosks.
I look at this.
Jeez, oh man, that's a lot of S sounds.
I look at this and I feel like the least interesting thing to them, the creators of this, the least interesting thing in this picture is the alien guy over there. Like, no interest in their abilities. Like, there's so many things we can explore. When have we actually explored?
You have to tell the stories of these strong women and their lightsabers.
Like,
it's only them would look at this and be like, "Oh, I don't like this because there's women in it." I swear to fucking God. Yeah, no, these guys don't say the word woke, but they might as well be at this point. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, too.
Yeah, the haircut. The haircut, man.
I've seen people point out the haircut of the guy around a point in this trailer is the same haircut as a lot of people and a lot of stuff these days that
Echo, Kasance, Killmonger. There's
when
so
someone
many.
brought it up, they were like, "When was the last person you saw in real life do that?" I was like, "Fuck yeah, it's been." We're talking not just real life, but also like vlogs and people just did videos. I was like, I haven't seen that haircut like ever. It's always in
Where
media.
did that shit? They just.
You know, I haven't seen it recently, but it was in style a few years ago. I have seen it in real life. Granted, I live in a college town, but yeah, no, that haircut, it's less popular now, but it was in vibe, like, I want to say maybe 6 years ago.
They think every single black person has that haircut, and it's like in games, movies, there's like 5 different other.
Scarlett Johansson had that haircut for a while. Well, that's not high res at all, but it gets my point across. There's Scarlett Johansson with that same fucking haircut. Let's get this wrapped up.
There are examples we didn't mention. I can't remember them, but
Miles has
Miles. There's another one. There's another one
too.
There's another one. I don't know
that
what it
suit
is.
with his hair coming out got made fun of by everybody.
Yeah, that part was really dumb.
Very Batwoman-esque.
Very bad.
I mean that's
very easily identifiable, one might say. Because instantly you're like, oh,
Yeah, it's also worth noting, well, like, I guess you could... Well, I don't even know who this character is, but, like, Storms had that haircut. IRL? I can't think of any black women I knew with that haircut. It was white women, primarily with that haircut.
oh, Spider-Man, he's a black guy. His
they don't
voice is
care
really
about-
young. He has a distinctive haircut. It's like, all right, we've narrowed it down significantly at a glance
Yeah, who the
as to
fuck-
who you are.
Nobody hides
doesn't
their
wanna-
identity anymore.
Yeah, it
I
is
mean,
kind of like that.
Miles has a good suit. Like his suit looks fine in the game for most of it, and then they change him to this really weird look.
Well, that's a fucking tangent. Yes, I do not like the later suit that they have Miles in. Let's see, they're about ready to get back to the video.
One at the end.
Well, yeah, and that's meant to be like the updated cool
it,
suit. And it's like, dude, just give me the normal one. What the hell is this?
I remember way back when Spider-Man 2 came out, I had like a friend's older brother who was pissed that Spider-Man kept taking off his mask. He shouldn't be doing that, And he like that was just like the tiny bit of it. But compared to now, where like they always just
With nanotech helmets, yeah.
nanotech bullshit.
Annoying.
Well, yeah, and the reason they do that is because actors like to have FaceTime. That's just a fact.
It's not just the
John
nanotech.
Halo.
Isn't it sad that like that's just so far down the list though, like of the issues?
Yeah.
Fucking nanotech.
Recommended enough, and I think it would be perfect to kind of lead you into the Acolyte. Again, I thought this.
Why?
What?
Why? You know what the Acolyte's about.
You don't know when.
Based on limited things he knows, he's giving you a suggestion. My God. They are so triggered just by somebody actually enjoying something.
What do you think about the Acolyte?
You know,
it's
the
an
only
ad.
reason I feel like it's because that book was presented when the High Republic launched as like the book, the introduction. That's like the one that you're meant to read.
But he didn't even say that. If he'd said that,
No, I know
more
he didn't even
substance.
say that, but I do find it's just funny because he's just saying what the marketing for the book is. Like, he's not actually providing a new insight into why and would it even be? Aren't they separated by like 100 years? Now I want to know.
You know what I'm getting?
Now I want to know.
Well,
actually.
as I was trying to point out, he can't know that it would be a good leader because he's not seen Acolyte. He has
It's
no
not even
clue.
out yet.
Yeah, it's a guess on his part. I thought that was pretty clear in the video. Like, he was like, here's what I'm guessing based on the little bit I know. That's pretty evident in the video. When I watched it on its own, I thought, okay, cool, he's giving me a suggestion based on what he thinks.
Yeah,
I don't think he's read that book.
This is
apparently the High Republic.
What? Why would you assume he hasn't read it? They just throw this shit out there. That gets annoying.
Spans 500 to 100 years, so it could be as many as 400 years earlier than that.
Oh man.
Yeah, it probably fills in some gaps.
And he doesn't know what the show's about. Don't know.
So I'm saying this guy is like
so
basically
the
like
Light of the Jedi is set 200 years before the Phantom Menace. So I don't know, man. 100 years apart, and it's gonna be a good lead into the Acolyte. Like, I know that there's actually no reason to conclude one way or the other, but on the basis of this information, I would conclude that it's not a good lead into the Acolyte at all.
Well,
that it's
the
totally
fact you
different and relevant.
Yes, it is a guess on his part.
Story.
It's as far away from the Acolyte as the Acolyte is
As
from
it is
Phantom
from
Menace.
the Phantom Menace. But remember, he thinks that it ties into the prequels.
This is why you don't have to elaborate on your points. Just say them real quick, and just people absorb it. Like I was gonna say, this guy seems like enthusiastic Chris Stuckman. He's got all this editing and energy, but he's not saying anything. Like both of them just don't say
This
I see
video
what you
is
mean,
incredible.
No, I mean he said a little bit. There's not much you can actually say in a trailer reaction, to be brutally honest. Chris Stuckman can't. I've seen plenty of Chris Stuckman videos where he actually says a lot. He usually, like when he talks about movies, he'll talk about lighting, direction, storytelling, acting. He usually breaks down elements of movies. It's been a while since I've watched one of his videos outside the Madam Web thing. That's usually how he does it. If you don't think he's saying anything, I feel like that's kind of you reporting the fact that you don't really understand what he's talking about.
Incredibly hollow.
Thanks for the energy.
Incredibly hollow.
You knew that he knew that, right? Like he had nothing.
Bad.
absolutely nothing. But that's why I was saying from the beginning. Like
but how does he have nothing?
Okay, but like this is the thing that I don't get about some people. If you're presented with a stone and that's it, as a white room and there's a stone, and they say talk about it for an hour, I'd be like, all right, I think I can do
Give
this.
this stone a name. We got to give him a name and a story.
Not even that. I mean, like they go review the stone. I'd be like, okay,
it's history.
you know, like
Okay.
But what I guess I'm getting at is I might
it's-
struggle to get it to an hour, but I can get it to more than 3 fucking minutes.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
you
definitely.
can look at the color.
And
you
I don't
can
even care about the
check
stone.
like
I'm not a
how
stone
heavy it
expert.
is.
I don't know stone stuff, and yet I can still do
How
it.
far
Look
can I
at the
throw it?
theology.
Well, sure. I mean, you get to an hour if you do 50 billion tangents and just make fun of dumb shit, too.
Does it bounce off the wall? Can I?
Well, yeah, you
I
can test
stand
all that
on it?
stuff and pee on it.
What
see
does
if
it taste like when I lick it? I think I'm prepared for this one. I think I'm gonna do it.
tasted before the
My
peeing
guess
part.
is
But yeah,
salty.
the fact that he couldn't, he struggled to say anything about it, and he's so
That's
excited.
another.
Well,
Because there's not that much trailer, guys.
apparently
I
he's
believe
about
the
to
excitement.
reiterate what he's already said because he started the sentence with again.
This trailer was great. It gave me kind of everything that I expected.
What's your
and
font,
even a
man?
little bit more, but it still kind of keeps a lot of stuff up to interpretation. So for that alone, A+, I can't wait to see where they go. Again,
You know, I just realized that song that the one guy has in the background, the video that's being reviewed, it sounds like a modulated version of the Cantina song. Kind of cool.
Fucking Christ.
Jesus
So basically,
fucking Christ.
so essentially, he said
It couldn't have
it
been
had
better.
everything. It had everything that I was expecting and more, and it left a lot of room for other stuff. A+.
Yeah.
Like
What would have made it
okay,
a
man.
or an A-?
All right. I want to ask him, what does an
criteria?
F- trailer look like? What is that?
What does this
What's
siege trailer look like? What does it look
Yeah,
like
yeah.
when it's
Like,
not-
give me.
Yeah, how dare he like stuff? The jerk. You're supposed to hate stuff. Like, I swear, like, these guys just can't handle just genuinely liking stuff. It's like, what? No, you have to hate everything.
average
Point on your
trailer?
Scale. A-. I want to see what an A- looks like.
A+.
give
One of the
him a
best
softball
trailers
first.
ever made.
This is why I hate when people throw numbers and like and those different like numbers is a little bit better, but specific gratings, it's like what does that mean? Like
Well,
really?
No, yeah,
I
when people
assume your
do
issue
it,
is more so when the grades don't mean anything. Like if you're just throwing, it's the same with
If I'm
numbers.
gonna make a tier list, I'm gonna spend like hours going over the exact criteria of each letter and how they connect to each other, and how that, like there should be a structure there they can actually follow. So S tier means something. You can have fun with it, you know, but like at the same time, just don't throw out a random A- because I
Go
don't
ahead,
think you're gonna be
A+.
consistent with that.
Well, lots of times, you build that context over time. So what? This is probably his first trailer review, so he's gonna build that context over time. And maybe if he gets enough people asking him, he'll just do a video breaking down his grading system.
A+.
Oh my
god.
god. That's the thing.
A
Like, I
plus
want to
would
like
be
what
worse.
made it an A+ and not
Yeah.
an A or an A-? Because I don't even think he could tell us that.
I would want to hear this guy tell me like why Godzilla -1 is good. Like just tell me. Like
think-
Godzilla is peak, it's fire, is there? Are you actually gonna elaborate
All
on
those
these
people
things?
were
What's,
speaking Japanese.
Wait, are they actually criticizing Godzilla -1? Because that movie was pretty fucking fire. That movie was fantastic, frankly. That was amazing.
particularly funny is if it had this level of enthusiasm or review, and then it ends with saying like A-. You're like, wait, why? Like, where did the minus come in? Like, what?
Because A- is still a really good grade, and he liked it quite a bit.
What did it do wrong?
It wasn't as good as the Acolyte trailer.
That's true. Yeah.
And somehow even more hyped than before. Like, I didn't think that was possible, but here.
This dude is my new Glub Shitto, by the way.
Okay, that's kids' terms that I don't understand.
Well, Glub Shitto's just a classic sort of.
I love Glub Shitto.
I think the origin of that is that there's a tweet. Yeah, let me find it actually, because I remember it is a funny tweet.
It's really good tweet.
I'm unaware of this entirely.
It's a really good tweet.
I like referencing Glub Shitto because it's so accurate.
Yeah.
I'm just happy he appreciates this little guy too.
So I have no idea what Glub Shitto means either.
Yeah, so the tweet is, every time a new Star Wars movie or show is announced, all the fans are like, quote, "Oh my god, Glub Shitto is back."
Oh, okay.
Which I like a lot, 'cause it's true. But the thing is, what I really like about that tweet is the better times of Star Wars, where that would be something that, like, you do feel, but there's a backing of substance. You're like, oh shit, yeah, that's happening, but also it means this. Because Star Wars' packaging is goofy as fuck at times, but it's like fine. Totally fine. Like the silly names or the absurd like looking things in different places and stuff. Like the cantina is filled with, there's like a werewolf in the cantina in A New Hope.
Yeah.
Who cares? Because it's like
I might have known the werewolf's name. I know that one of the most expensive Star Wars toys to find, like one of the most valuable ones back in the day, was a random cantina goer named Yak Face. It was like $150 if you wanted to buy one in a package, which at the time was a lot for a second.
Okay, we're gonna get back to the video, but like, yeah, these guys just do tangents.
Second-hand action figure.
And I
But
think
it's the impact you can have. It's just a random character side, you know?
Yeah, when you have names like that in the original cantina in that movie, and you find it out because you get every single figurine, you dig down into like one of the deepest fucking forums, you find out it's like, yeah, that guy's name is fucking Thumbo Groin, and you're like, that is so fucking funny. But then when everything falls apart and everything is shit, and then you find out that one of the characters in Solo was called Therm Scissor Punch, everyone's like, oh shit.
I think the best example of that is probably Lurtz, because his name wasn't said in the movie. People just fucking from.
Well, yeah, but Lutz is a really cool name. What I'm getting at is that the goofiness becomes like not endearing when the content surrounding it isn't well made. It starts to come off as just like lame and gay and just trying to like, you know, appeal. In like, look, we're Star Wars because we have a goofy name. You're like, shut up.
Go away.
I prefer the groin names when they were trying. Like, it makes
groin names. My groin has many names.
What did you think of the trailer? Let me know down in the comments below.
You don't care. You don't care.
You don't care.
You don't care about us. God damn it!
He didn't say anything. How could he care what we have?
Please like, comment, and subscribe.
Nope.
Yeah, how dare he do the YouTube algorithm stuff that's pretty much demanded of all YouTubers.
Hit that bell to stay notified, and until the next video, may the force.
The video is only 4 minutes long. And
where's half a minute's worth of
It's already done. That's it.
Oh, half a minute.
Look at his
half a minute.
His outro image is the world between worlds.
That's very common. Jesus.
Possibly the most damage that's been done to Star Wars.
Yeah, that was a cool episode. Get over it.
You really didn't like the idea of uploading a trailer under 4 minutes, or uploading.
Oh, Rags, Fringy. I learned things from the Stargrift episodes that I just like. I am tempted to watch the Clone Wars just with you guys, just so that we can learn about this. Like, there's gonna be people listening to this who are like, "Why is he recounting it so weirdly?" But like, this is all I got. Okay, Ahsoka and Vader have a fight. The whole building like falls apart, and then he leaves, and then she leaves. But then seasons later, we find out that Ezra goes into the world between worlds and pulls her out of the fight, even though we saw her leave the fight. And so the assumption from fans is that she eventually went back through the world between worlds to re-enter that world in order to walk away in continuity, if you understand what I'm saying.
It sounds like a good show.
I remember, like, when this was being explained to me and I saw some clips, I was just like, what the fuck was going on in the Clone Wars? Like, what? Why did you need to...
Okay, I don't think they're really going to say much more.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes.
Sweet. Can everybody else hear me?
Yes. Let me go ahead and set this
up.
You
Did you just like put the stream on? I'm like this on their stream, or I don't know what you're doing, man. You're doing some kind of wizardry.
Yeah, I'm doing OBS wizardry.
Okay. What about my drops? Can they hear my drops?
Yeah, they should be able to hear your drops.
Okay, because I got one here. Let's see. Yeah, here we go.
Your savior is here.
All right.
There you go.
All right. Did y'all get that one? How about this one?
Hey, what's Mauler doing here?
It is fun how Mauler pops up in people's streams.
It is weird that like every time, yeah, and that's the thing. Like, you know, I'm tired of these EFAPtivists, as I like to call them, because they're just like they're just constantly on guard. Like they're like, we will defend them we will stay up all night, and when any mention of EFAP in anything less than a positive light, and we shall defend them. Anyway, like they act like everything is in a vacuum, right? So like they when they're like, you said they like the dude in chat a little while ago was like, you said they only say negative things about Star Wars. What about Andor? It's like, yeah, man, of course they got to throw positivity a bone every now and then because otherwise it'll be too obvious, right?
Mm-hmm. And Andor was getting really positive reviews, and there's still some shit critiques of Andor. Sue, I actually covered the Critical Drinker trailer. It is generic as fuck.
Aside from that, they're always with the people who definitely do only say negative things about pretty much anything.
Yes.
Especially coming out of Disney. Like, Critical Drinker, Geeks and Gamers, Nerd Rock, all these guys, they definitely, like 99.8% of the time are going to have a lot of just bad faith, negative shit to say about any Disney product before it ever releases. And that's what I mean by like the dude was like, oh, how do you know they're not fans? Well, because a fan, if you love Star Wars, even if let's say the Acolyte trailer, which I don't think it looks bad at all, looks pretty good.
I thought like it didn't blow my mind, but I thought it looks cool.
Yeah, I'm on board. Like a fan is gonna see a trailer, even if the trailer is kind of lackluster or whatever, and they're gonna go, okay, that didn't get my attention yet, but I'm gonna, you're gonna hold out. You're going to hold out your, you're not going to fucking immediately join a mass campaign to downvote that fucking trailer.
Yeah.
If you're a fan of Star Wars, that's just not what fans do. You know what I mean? You're that's not what fandom is. That's anti-fandom. You need to accept that about yourselves if that's what you do.
That's a good point.
But speaking of which, and this isn't about that guy, that video directly or anything, but I just happened to be looking around on good old Reddit and found this post on r/what is this? Mauler? It's got a capital L in there. I don't know what that's about. Mauler.
Wow, that sounds like weird spelling. He probably shouldn't do that weird spelling.
And this is just a really revealing kind of thread, I think. Why is the Acolyte trailer being mass disliked? Clearly because of racism. Okay? And it's really interesting that so tired of these moronic race baiters. They call them the race baiters, people that are, like, it's pretty fucking obvious. And then how do we know it's obvious? How is it obvious? Because you dig deeper into this thread and you start to see it really come out. For one thing, I think we got to cover this istophobe word that they've made up. I've
not even heard it before.
You've heard them say ists and phobes, right?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's just a word to, a cutesy little word to, to downplay any accusation of racist or, whatever, phobic, whatever. And they think that this is actually just people that are defending bad. They say this flat out. They're like, you don't understand my art. Really minorities should be slamming these morons. Like, oh, here we go. Yes, because it's easier to believe that than acknowledge that your show looks crap. Like, and this is just a very common, kind of sentiment coming out of this group. And they're like, it's literally just a modern market strategy. You can deflect any criticism by adding. You see how it's a fucking circular logic nonsense? You add diversity to a shit product. Like, why would you make a shit product in the first place?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whatever. Why not? instead of just, doing the whole diversity as a shield thing, which is not really a thing.
No.
I mean, sure, I'm sure there's some people that have used it in isolated, ways here and there, but like Disney's not doing this as a marketing strategy. But like, yeah, adding diversity to a shit product, then call the critics racist. Like, are they doing it to use as a shield for the shit product, or are they doing it to pander? Which one is it?
Yeah. Well, they say that all the time, and yeah, it is such a circular argument. Just like, we're adding diversity, and then that way we get to call people racist if they don't like it, and it's like, well, you're ignoring all the people who critique it who aren't called racist, because, there's plenty of critiques at a lot of this stuff where you can look at, and maybe even if you don't agree, you can at least say it's not racist. When you are, like, targeting, when you use, like, obvious terms, obviously if you use woke, but if you use terms like Mary Sue, that's another big one they love to throw at Star Wars. All this shit where it's, it gets pretty racist pretty quickly, or sexist in the case of Mary Sue.
It doesn't help that they're immediately like, yes, these people, these kinds of people are unironically that, are swear. And look, I mean, I've said that word as not even that long ago, but still. Oh
my God! Wait, that's okay.
Wow.
This seems sensible.
Someone speaking sense, and it's got negative 5. I'm gonna boost him up there. Boost you up, homie. Yeah, it's like, okay, so Slippy Toad, what the fuck? I'm sorry, I'm not gonna look at your chat anymore after this, but like, he's just. Did you watch the Marvels yet, Dane? Well, that's kind of creepy that you like were at some point aware that I hadn't watched the Marvels. Yes, I've watched the Marvels now. But what does that have to do with anything I'm saying?
Yeah.
How is that the same logic of anything that I've said?
And like, if you haven't seen the Marvels, you're not a fan. What? That's not your point at all. So you're making up points and debunk. Good for you, Slippy. You can make up points and debunk them.
Yeah, here we go with this tweet, the offensive tweet.
Yeah.
That murdered 1 million white people.
I'm shocked he actually quoted it, because when you actually see it, it's like, it's very reasonable tweet. There is nothing, like, if you, like, I keep on saying, if you're offended by that tweet, man, you need to self-reflect, seriously.
I think it might be, I mean, self-reflect, but also just like, I think it is like a comprehension thing. Because it's like they're reading something in that sentence that's just not there.
Mm-hmm.
Or they're I don't know. It's weird. No, look, see, it's just people that don't really understand things, and they're like really reductive about all of it. Like Donald Trump won an election, and there are some who see that as proof that around half of not half of the America's voting population is racist, but half is made up of people who, yes, there's definitely some racists, and then there's other people who just are either uninformed or unconcerned about issues that are going on these days, and that doesn't make you a hateful bigot, but like it does make you, if you're not informing yourself, then yeah, you're contributing to some shit that's not good. And so yeah, not my favorite person.
No, it's one of those things where it's like, did everybody who vote for Donald Trump, is everybody who voted for Donald Trump a racist? No, absolutely not. Are there racists that vote for Donald Trump? Yes, absolutely. Probably most of them.
Well, so the funniest thing that I found, I think I passed it up, was they started talking about voting in particular. Maybe that was it. And then immediately somebody was like, well, somebody started, well, don't tell them who the KKK, which party they belong to. And it's like, oh my God, they're doing that.
Wow. So ignoring the party switch, that's always fun.
Yeah. And somebody, yeah, it's, oh man, where is it? I'm sorry. I should have kept it more contained, but,
I understand. You think you got this all figured out, and then you have to find it again. It's like, wait, I had it.
Maybe this was it. Yep, here we go. This is where I ask what party the KKK aligned with. It slips my mind who David Duke was touting. But yeah, I guess all you guys aren't racist, just racist adjacent. The Democrats? And then this person shares a PragerU thing.
Oh boy, PragerU's never lied about this, so... Yeah.
Well, I mean, no, they're not lying right here. They just don't follow up with this part.
Yeah, I guess like I'd consider it a live omission. They are ignoring
definitely
a key element of this technical fact. Yes.
Yep. I mean, racists or billionaires cuck, both, it's like, you guys are literally just like parroting fucking far right talking points. Not even necessarily like right wing, but like some of these are, of course, there's hardly any difference anymore.
I know. I
do. And that's what I mean. That like the people that watch this content that need to have their opinions fed to them, and then are so desperate to defend the people that issue their opinions to them. They have to show up in chats like, and Mauler's, Efap's the only ones really that are guaranteed. That's why I showed up and was like, are they here yet?
Mm-hmm.
Because we can talk about Nerdrotic, we can talk about Geeks and Gamers. Like, it's not guaranteed that anybody's going to show up and defend those guys.
Yeah, Critical Drinker's got 2 million subs. Not guarantee someone's going to show up and defend it. I'll get people showing up in the comments when the video comes out, but like during chat,
only in a live stream talking about Efap will they show up. Definitely. Excuse me. Will there definitely be some people showing up? Yeah, and then you're getting people talking about, defending Trump and whatnot. So, I mean, it's like, that was it, man. I just happened to be looking at that, and then I was thinking, and then,
sure.
And then, of course, you happen to be talking about the thing that the only reason that I was going to possibly stream was to cover these fucking moronic clowns that, go after tiny channels like this, and it's pretty sad that they can't just let people enjoy things, it's pretty sad.
That's why I think anti-fandom is a really good term for it, because it's like it's not even necessarily they aren't fans, because they just actively like not just hate on the property, but hate on other fans as well. Just anti-fandom.
Well, I mean, it's like if you look at Critical Drinker, and I really need to do this. I really want to like do a survey of his content and just see, how much of it is like Disney products that he's covering.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of it is. Like, there's so much stuff that he covers that you wouldn't think that a guy in his, what is he, late 30s or whatever?
I would assume, yeah.
That he would cover that, or his audience would be very interested in that if they were just, basing this off of being interested in films or whatever, right? But then, like me, I'm not going to cover certain things that are outside of my interests or my wheelhouse, right? Like, why would I cover something that I have very little interest in or none, and then just go, oh, it's more woke crap or whatever? Like, I don't know. It just, but then he doesn't, he can't say that. I mean, he does pretend like he's an actual film reviewer, like a film critic or whatever, but there's so many films that he doesn't even talk about.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think this is kind of a YMS point, but it's a really good point on Critical Drinker. So essentially Critical Drinker's big thing is that Hollywood movies suck. Okay. Why don't you talk about indie movies? You have a huge platform. Go to a film festival. Talk about some indie movies you loved. I guarantee you go to a film festival, just walking on random movies, you're probably going to find quite a few gems. Quite a few gems. There's great indie filmmakers out there. Phenomenal indie filmmakers. He could use his platform. And yeah, you talk about the big budget movies to get the eyes, but then he could also use it to talk about like indie movies and bring some light onto these indie movies that are really great. But he doesn't, because that doesn't make him the money.
Well, and because his audience they're not really like, YMS also made this point, that they're not really like film fans the way that you and I are, or, a lot of us are. They're culture fans, and they're more interested in the cultural, political aspect of whatever it is. So like, they don't care as much about the substance of a film or whatever. It's just like, what is the cultural implication of it? And of course, Critical Drinker is going to tell them what the implication of that is.
Yes.
In his mind, anyway. So.
Well, he will tell them what he thinks they want to hear, because honestly, that's all he cares about.
Indeed.
Who knows what a lot of these guys' actual opinions are? I mean, we have a decent idea of Nerdrotic if you watch any of his old coverage. But yeah, Critical Drinker, who knows what his actual opinions are? He just knows what to say.
I mean, Yeah, but I mean, like after a certain point, like after years of doing this, I wonder if they even can tell you what their real opinions are.
I
You know what I
wondered
mean?
that as well, because there's only so long you can play a character like that. I mean, you have actors who get sick of playing a character like once every couple years. These guys are playing a character like almost every single day. That's got to get to you.
Yeah. There's a I have this short video of this like a just critical thinking in like 3 or 5 steps or something like that. It's pretty good. I'm gonna just playing it before like every stream. Like I think just so people keep it in mind. But yeah. Well, so what you covered some comics today?
Yes, we got Resurrection. We got all caught up. I covered Resurrection of Magneto number 3, Spawn 350, Ultimate Spider-Man 3, and X-Men 97-1.
Damn. And X-Men 97 is a prequel comic, right?
Yeah, it actually didn't thrill me. I was a little disappointed in that one, but the other ones were all pretty good.
I mean, it's kind of one I wouldn't expect a whole lot from it. I guess it's like the cartoons
I was excited because I
love
love the series, and then it came out. I was like, oh, okay. And
it's an obligatory thing whenever it's like that. You know, the series is the primary thing that they're focusing on, and they go, well, we are a comic company. We should probably put a comic out too. Oh no, make it a prequel. But like, man, that most recent episode was fucking awesome.
Yeah, it was. I didn't like it as much as the first 2, but it was solid. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely getting more into the weeds of like the, you know, it's pretty impressive how the stuff that it's covering from the comics and how they're doing it.
Yeah, they're covering a lot of ground quickly.
Yeah, quite a bit. And then, yeah, you know, it's just it was definitely creepier than I expected, and you know, it would have been. I would have barely noticed, I think, but except I was, you know, my 8-year-old has gotten into this show pretty quickly, and so like, you know, he's like not into scary stuff yet. You know what I mean? Like he'll have nightmares and stuff. So then whenever it kind of turned into the horror show that it did, he was like, "Oh my god!" I was like, "Oh man, I'm sorry.
I didn't know.
I wasn't expecting that." All right.
But yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Dane, I will talk to you later. I'm going to go ahead and sign off stream because I've been doing this
we're gonna be
almost 4.
Can I go ahead and promote my Sunday stream? We are going to be fapping on the Fapcast, as we always do. We're going to be fapping the history of modern conservatism. We're going to be beginning that series on Sunday with, you know, kind of, we're going to do like a speed run of the first, you know, half of the 20th century or so. Just like how conservatized. Wait, what? No. Yeah, we're going to be looking at that stuff. So we're talking about like, you know, John Birch Society and crap like that. And then before we get into the next week, we'll get into some other stuff. But throughout this whole series of conservatism, we're going to be kind of probably toward the end, I guess, of each episode, we'll go into a little bit of Project 2025.
That's scary.
So we'll be breaking that shit down as we're breaking down how we got to Project 2025 as even a potential thing. And then, yeah.
That sounds
going to be fun. No, we'll have some stuff sprinkled throughout that's gonna like make it more fun. By the way, I also have a video that I put up yesterday. It's the full interview of Grogu Fleck, the centrist, with Pillar of Garbage, the YouTuber, and you know, that's kind of to hold people over.
His name was Pilar. I get confused.
Apparently we got that wrong.
Oh god damn it!
He didn't mind me just calling him, or I'm sorry, not me, Grogu Fleck. He didn't mind Grogu Fleck calling him garbage. So.
Oh,
you know, you can just
I
call
bet you he's
him
never been
now.
called that before. I bet you that was original.
Probably never has, no. But also, Garbage has a new video up that's also awesome. It's the 3rd one in his X-Men trilogy thing he did, and it's really good.
Yeah, I got like halfway through it. It was good.
It's weighty, but man, it's such a good series. And hope everybody watches that shit. So, you guys that are EFAPtivists in chat, rethink your content choices, man. Consider that you've been corralled by an algorithm, and that you, even though you feel strongly attached to this stuff, it doesn't mean that like it is just inherently the best thing that you could be watching. Okay, branch out, reconsider some things. You know, watch films with an open mind, and yeah, take care.
Nice. Yes. Excellent. Yeah. So make sure to check out his stuff on Sunday. I will go ahead and do my sign out here.
All right.
So
wait a second. Wait.
Oh, no.
Hey, bub. Why don't you go fuck yourself?
All right.
You told me to go fuck myself? God damn it.
Bye. Later.
I can't handle this.
I'm out of here.
All right, later.
Books, records, films, these things matter. Call me shallow. It's the fucking truth.